This conference will now be recorded.
Start this meeting off with a pledge of allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Here today, Marion County Commission meeting, May 17th, 12:30. And for a change, I'm going to get to say here that we do have some public in our meeting room. When I open up public comments, we will let them give their names, and then try and limit it to 3 to 5 minutes. And if necessary, we'll put you on, if it's an item that we can put you on the agenda here, if one of our department heads is up here, if you need be, well, we will do that too. So it'll be for a short time with them, and so they can hear it too. So.
And they'll have to also sit over there. They'll also have to sit over there.
Yeah, we will have to sit down here with the mic end down here so everybody in the meeting can hear it. So open up this meeting, and is there any public comments out here in the neighborhood out here?
Yeah, I'm not there.
All right, Paul, I'd like for you to please step down there to the end and tell us where you live, your name, and what happened.
I'll let you guys look at that as I'm talking here. So I'm Paul Helmer. I live Yarrow 618th Marion. We've been out there about 10 years now. So this all kind of started then. We haven't had very good roads the whole time we've been there. It's an ongoing battle. Before the meeting started, Kent kind of chuckled about a mile of rock at a time.
I heard about this.
That's really not an exaggeration. I don't think we've ever had a mile done at a time. So about 8 years ago, maybe 6 years ago, we all met at the county, the Lake City Hall. Randy was there. They hired somebody to come in and tell us what was wrong with our roads. What did they say, Randy? What was the number one problem with the roads?
You're talking down at the city meeting or
Yeah, Lake Hall.
Lake Hall? With the public?
Yep.
Okay. The public was just a matter of fact of the rock that was on the road.
Yeah, no rock. That's right. So what have we done since then? Probably no rock issue.
I think we've done a lot of things, but we've tried different kinds of rock. Some rocks don't. We've had some people that didn't like what we put on for the rock. We've tried hard rock, but that's been designated mostly as to put on top as a cap. We went to different quarries since then. We went to the one up north, Woodbine, lots of different rock up there. But we're still, it seems like when we go back to a limestone rock that it pulverizes real quick like and fades away. And so that's...
Well, Friday, our roads went pretty bad. So when my wife called in Friday, said, we got the rainstorm coming in. You know, can we get some rock out here, at least the first quarter mile, because it's getting to where cars will drag on the bottom. And I don't know who she talked to, but he told her not to be so pessimistic about the situation. Well, I think the situation might have got worse now that we got that on the road. So Friday evening, I come home from work, I see this stuff on the road, and I was kind of in a hurry, so I didn't really stop. Some of the neighbors, we all got together and went and looked at it, and I don't know what you call that. It's an excuse. I mean, it's not acceptable.
Was it gravel? Could you tell, or was it crushed
It's
concrete?
building. It's some kind of building.
I mean, what was the material on the road? Was it gravel? Limestone gravel?
No, it was red brick.
I'd heard it was brick.
It was ground up stuff.
So it's crushed.
Yeah.
You haven't seen no pictures, Dave?
Okay.
Yeah, here I got some pictures.
Paul has some good pictures.
Okay.
I've got some.
Well, I just want to know what the material was, where it came from.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, they got them in their phones, but
Okay.
I mean, that isn't acceptable. I mean, I don't know. We need the stuff off the road. I think today we need it off the road. We need something done with it. I mean, I have a wife with 4 kids who goes to town, and I'm at work, working hard to pay my taxes, and this is the crap I get out there. I mean,
I personally believe this is from the south shop. That's my thoughts.
Okay.
Where I don't think this is any of the, at least it don't look like there should be any red
There's
out
brick.
of the
There's
concrete
brick.
up north.
Right.
But I know our south shop has had bricks and other things out there to be ground up. So I'm assuming, that's not from our leader or anything like that. I'm just assuming.
my question is, what we're obviously paying for this stuff. So somehow, I mean, we're paying to crush it, we're paying to buy it, we're paying to get it on the road, something. what's our expense per ton and something like that?
I think it was 5 something, what we're figuring out, 560 or so, 70
That's-
just to crush.
Yeah, just a
Somewhere-
crush.
somewhere in that
With
neighborhood.
crap in it like that coming out on the road.
Well, there's supposed to be magnets, it's supposed to catch that.
It's supposed to be, but that's proof of what's on the road.
And so,
Yeah.
that is,
Well, just to be clear, the
Yeah.
contract that we have is up north.
Well, the contract you have is right there in that bucket.
I don't know
I
how that
know.
got crushed.
That's a new
Yeah.
guy.
The new guy started
this
this?
new guy started last Monday.
Okay.
When we approved
Tuesday.
it.
I mean, I don't care what you got in the contract, that's what's on the road right there.
Yeah.
And that's a brief sampling, that wasn't even, I didn't hunt that out, I mean, I drove by with my foot on the brake and that's laying on top.
Irregardless, somebody dropped the ball.
Yeah.
I mean, we need to
Yeah.
have eyes on the operation.
Well, my
Not
point
saying
is,
all
if,
the time,
Right.
but part of the time.
if we're paying $6 a ton to get this out there, what's limestone cost? 8, 10?
Yeah.
16.
No,
No,
it's,
no.
Yeah.
Well, just for the rock is 8 to 9
Yeah.
for limestone.
I
For your
mean,
hard rock, it's up 16 to 20.
why are we wasting our time and effort and money on this stuff when we can be putting rock down for 8?
Paul, I tell you, I will shorten you up a little bit here, and I think our goal with this stuff was to find some harder rock that would not pulverize and create dust. We've been told here in this commission meeting that there's a lot of counties grinding up concrete and stuff. This is extended out to our south shop where we've had concrete, mud bricks and things. I think that's why your picture shows nothing, but shows the red brick and stuff in it. And so we're trying to find an equal value product that would be, if that stuff didn't have this stuff in it, what would you say? Would you be here today if it didn't have that stuff?
Possibly, it depends how sharp the
Okay.
concrete is. I mean,
Well, that's my question. What did you see out there?
I mean, look in that bucket, there ain't just wire, there's glass and there's wood and,
There's quite a lot of
I mean,
stuff in
there's
there,
chunks of
yes.
wood in there that's gonna puncture a car tire if it was dry.
Yeah.
And you say surrounding counties, I work in a lot of surrounding counties, I ain't never seen none of that on the roads. I mean, I work in Morris, Dickinson, Chase,
Mhm.
there is none of that crap out there.
So, well,
I mean, I guess I wanna answer as to what are we doing about that today?
when Bryce comes up, it's gonna be on discussion. And
we need to get it off. How big an area is it?
It's at least a quarter mile.
Yeah, was it a mud spot through there or something?
Yeah, the whole road's a mud spot. I mean, yeah. Yeah.
Was this any worse than this spot here, worse where they put this?
That's the worst.
The worst, yes.
Yeah. So, okay, well, that's the best answer I've got until our supervisor comes up, Paul. I called and asked us to stop it, and I was gonna bring it up later on to where we can evaluate what's going on and get some answers. I mean,
Yeah, I think we need an answer today. I mean, that
well,
can't stay out of the road. What are we supposed to just fight flats? And
yeah,
I mean, that's a joke.
no. So, like I said, he's on here as soon as we get done through the approval. He's on at 1 o'clock here, so.
We can't make any excuses for that, that's
No,
for sure.
yeah.
And your wife shouldn't have been spoken to the way she was
Yeah,
spoken.
exactly. I mean, to tell somebody it's pessimistic, well, buddy, you ain't out there on the freaking road that's crap either.
Well.
And I mean, half of it gotta makes you wonder if he's trying to be stuff.
I think if any person lived on that road and saw that was an employee of Marion County, then they may have a little different opinion than what they did before they put this on, so, especially with this stuff in it. So, Paul, that's the best answer I've got, and unless the commission can better answer his question than what we can till we get Bryce up here.
That's
We can't leave it out there, that's.
No, I agree. It needs to be off today.
Okay.
Something needs to be done with it.
I don't know about, I've heard talk of covering it up or sand. I don't think that's probably the
Yeah,
answer.
that
That's
stuff will
okay.
come right to the
I
top.
don't know that that's the correct
Need to
thing,
windrow it to the side and pick it up.
but,
We can put it in a ditch, they're pretty good at that.
Yeah.
Blading our rock off in a ditch.
so,
I mean, like I said earlier, this has been going on, I mean, I don't know when that meeting was at town hall, or at the city hall, but the experts.
County Lake.
County
Lake
Lake,
Hall.
yeah, the experts said no rock.
Yeah.
No rock was the problem. No kidding, no rock's the problem, and it hasn't gone anywhere since then.
yeah. I'm not gonna doubt your word,
Well, you don't need it now, there's evidence on the road. I
Has
mean,
the
it's-
maintainer requested rock over
I'm
here?
sure he has. And I mean, I think that's a lot of where the guilt gets dumped off, is the maintainer, he don't know what he's doing. Well, that might be the case. He may not know what he's doing, but how is he supposed to work with no rock? I mean, Dave, can you feed cattle without a freaking bell band?
Nope.
I mean, Randy, can you change a meter without a pipe wrench? It's
Right.
pretty tough if you ain't got the tools at hand to do it.
Yeah.
Right. So, I guess the answer will be, we'll talk about it here a little bit if you want to stay and listen
Yeah,
to
I'll
Bryce.
stay, yeah.
and That, so, I appreciate you bringing this up, because if we don't know, if I don't live out there, so I don't know, so I appreciate when people call and do this, and see the pictures, and see what they're fighting to go through. Now, anybody knows that with this kind of stuff here, what tires cost. And that, some of that stuff can tear a tire just as easy as a, you know, it's not just a simple nail going through, so. Thank you for your time, Paul, appreciate it. You can leave the bucket here.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm open for any more public session here. Public comments.
Pretty sure I know. You're just
I'm
gonna repeat
almost-
what he said.
Yeah, my mom always told me if I didn't have anything nice to say, not to say anything at all. When it comes to
Well-
Roden Bridge, I don't have anything nice to say, so.
Well, you are concerned though.
I am
That's-
concerned that
that's
we're
why-
going rapidly backwards.
I think that's everybody that shows up here is concerned, and that's, we like that. I mean, we're concerned too. You may not think it sometimes, but we are. We don't.
Curious
we don't-
to see
We
what
definitely
the-
don't like to see this.
I'd like to see the rock list published in a public forum, because I'm concerned that that really exists. You know, I've got a couple places that have been on the sand list for over 3 years now. Still haven't got any.
You were probably at the Lake Hall meeting. 6,
I
7
was,
weeks
I
ago.
didn't speak, but
I mean, do you think things have improved since then?
they improved for a little while. The thing that concerns me is this is the time of year when our roads really start to go downhill, because they pull all those blades off to do patch blading. Last year's the first year they used to at least come around and blade our roads before weed harvest. Last year that didn't happen. That's the first time ever, and I doubt if that's gonna happen this year either. So summer's when our roads go to hell, because we lose all of our blades.
Folks, Nick Krause is speaking. He's not down at the.
Sorry.
Sorry. I just thought
Okay, now start over, Nick.
No, I think the microphone was close enough there, Ken, but, well, I don't know if that camera has a mic on it or not.
It does, but that's not what the people on the
Okay.
virtual meeting hear
Okay.
from, so.
So,
He was loud enough.
So is the problem twofold? Is it lack of rock and proper maintenance? Is it
Lack
just
of
maintenance?
finishing. I came in, this was back when you had 3 guys running it. I came in to buy 3 loads of sand. What's that been, 2 years since those guys, a year and a half?
Yep.
I wanted a load in front of my house, 2 loads in front of my sister's house, and the 3 guys were sitting down there at the start of the day, and they said, well, the commissioners voted you don't have to buy sand anymore. I said, okay, well, I want 3 loads, because I said, we haven't had it in a long time. They said they haven't done that yet, because they rocked 2/20th, and they didn't come back and put the sand in front of the house, and they didn't put rock there either. No, they didn't do that. And they had flags out for 6 months to put millings on the rock outcroppings on the road. And James sat up, he said, well, did they put the millings on yet? And I said, no. He goes, well, it's just tough to get organized sometimes. And they finally came back and did it like a day like today after it rained and put millings on the outcroppings. Now, how do you think that held up? And they still haven't brought sand, and it's been 2 years since we requested it. I thought, well, it's easy for the commission to tell the people they don't have to buy sand if they're not willing to haul it out either. And so it gets, when it rains, it's greasy. You can't even back a semi up in front of a house. They just, failure to complete. You know, they were rocking that road up to that house, and it was the end of the day. They were a load short of making it to the house. They come back the next day, start east of the house, and never came back. So now there's a mud spot there. North of my house, they rocked that road whenever the hell that was last time. They were a half a load short of the intersection, never came back. It's just turned into a big ass mud hole because they never completed the job. And they wonder why we get so frustrated. They drive off and forget about it because they're on to the next job, but we see it every day, 6, 8, 10 times a day. It's just frustrating that when we're getting to the point that we cannot function, we cannot do business. And now we're being told that we're not allowed to work on our roads either. So what do you want us to do?
I think Nick and I had that talk this morning already about this staying off the roads, and he says, do you realize how many people are out there helping us? Because they're usually staying right in front of their house. They're not going down the road a mile or 2 or 3 miles down the road. There's only a couple limited people in this county going 3 and 4 miles down the road and doing things like that. So I think Nick was trying to bring the point to me this morning is there's a lot of people who go out and take their skid loader and fill a crack or mud hole in front of their house, but they don't go down the road and do it. They just
Well, I'll
do it
go
further
within a
down.
mile.
Well, yeah, if you,
I got a spot south of my house, and I can tell you exactly when, and that's been a bad spot since 13 when we got the 20 inches of rain and the water went across the road. It's been 8 years and the county has yet to figure out how to fix that spot. That's what's frustrating, that they just,
Nick, I
you
can't
can't
give
keep
you-
going over these spots. They're not gonna get better unless you allow us to do it or make them stop and do it.
You know,
Their follow through was even pathetic with their Band-Aid of crap they brought out. They submitted out 1 truckload.
At least they put it on the edge of the
Yeah,
road
they
so
put it
you
on
can
the edge
drive
of the
around
road, so you
it.
can drive around. They only did half the road. I guess that worked in their favor this time. But, I mean, just lack of effort is
Good news,
pathetic.
bad news.
Yeah,
No ownership whatsoever at all. Just
yeah.
whatever's quick and easy.
And I know those guys are frustrated too. I mean, it's a big
Well-
county, but we're at a major spot where something's gotta give. And what we've been doing ain't working.
okay. Well, thank you for your comments, both of you. And ma'am, you're here to,
I'm actually I want to hear the discussion with the road and bridge.
okay,
So,
okay,
yeah.
all righty, good
I
enough.
don't have any other public comment, just want to see how that goes.
Okay, all
I
right.
will say, I don't know, did you take a picture of that? I finally drove over and looked at it. It's not raw. I thought it was the concrete because somebody complained there was wire in the concrete. It's red brick.
It's like brick, yeah.
So-
And everything else,
This is what he brought in.
there's,
Yeah.
looks like porcelain or something.
Well, scrap iron's pretty high right now. Pick up a couple miles of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, now we've got to deal with that too.
Thank you. Right now, it's the best I can do. I appreciate you coming in. We'll probably should be up here in just a little bit. We're gonna go ahead and go through our business part of our meeting. And Carrie, unless there's some comments on the public viewing up there, do you have any yet up there? Have you seen anything?
No, there are no comments
Okay.
on the screen. I do have a question. Commissioner Garing, are you kicked out of the meeting? Because I think we may
No.
have lost internet.
No, I'm still on.
Okay. Oh, I see the camera's moving now. So. Thank
Okay,
you.
before I get into administration business, agenda approval, does anybody have any changes?
Chairman, we have a couple things. The appraiser's office has asked to be added to the agenda,
Okay,
and I would like a short executive session at the end for personnel performance for non-elected personnel after that.
okay, would you then go through the pay plan or do it before the pay plan?
I think that Judy asked Nikki to come up at 2:30, so.
2:30? Okay, so we'll put that executives, no, that's
Appraisers.
appraiser be added at 2:30. We'll move the public comments down a little bit.
And then if we could have, yeah, just sometime before you leave.
And then executive session then after that. Personnel performance. And I would like, before we get into 1:30, the one emergency management deal there, I'd like a short executive session before that. For just the board only and Brad.
For that, for personnel performance?
Yes, for personnel performance. Okay. With the changes would be between road and bridge executive session, probably a 5 or 10 minutes. I'll figure that out here when we get there. And then after the pay plan discussion, we'll have the appraiser up. And then after that, we'll have an executive session with Tina for personnel performance. I'd like to make a motion to accept that agenda. Would I hear a second? Second by Jonah. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. 5-0. So we'll go ahead with administrative business, Tina.
Okay. Randy, I don't know if your mic is on. It doesn't look like it is. Okay.
You have one of those
I
chairs.
think everyone else is.
Oh, I'm all right. I gotta
Okay,
leave.
in your
Put
packet,
dog
you
in.
had several just informational items. You have some budget activity reports or expenditures reports on there. And then I have a lot of stuff on the table for you. In your packet, you also had just a draft list of kind of the things you discussed at your work session, some upcoming items, and then things that are projects in progress, and then outstanding items that for potential current and future projects. So that's just kind of what I put on the list from the meeting. It's a draft for you to work with. On your table, you should have information about the 45th Annual Kansas County Commissioners Association Conference. Please let me know if that's something you want me to register you for. That's coming up actually in June, so we need to get registered for that here pretty soon if you want to do it.
That's in person.
It does, it looks like, yes, it is in person, so. This is Emergency Medical Services Week nationwide, and so since you've done proclamations for dispatch and for the sheriff's office, I just took the liberty of preparing one for EMS, and just assuming that you probably would want to do that as well. So there, that's on the table there. If you wish to adopt that proclamation, then it's ready.
Make a motion that the chairman adopt the proclamation.
Second.
I have a motion by John, a second by Kent, that we adopt the Emergency Medical Service Week, which is May 16th and May 22nd. So we're right in it this week. And all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Unanimous, 5-0.
I'd make a motion that we do as we did with the sheriff and provide some roles for the department.
I'd second that. Motion by Kent, second by me to do the same as we did last week, is some rolls and stuff for, and now you'll have 2 places to deliver, or maybe 3. I don't know how, we'll have to ask Travis how we can get that out to,
Yeah,
get it out to everybody.
Yeah.
And
Do
do the
that or
same.
bring it to one local place and they can
Or,
fill it out.
Yeah, whatever, maybe he's gonna have a meeting or something we can do this week,
Yeah.
so. Dave, how did everything go okay last week?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for doing what you did.
Up to 8:30 on Monday morning, or Tuesday, Wednesday.
Wednesday.
They were surprised. And Jonah showed up later with snow.
Cool. So, who's gonna take charge this week and take care of medical? I am.
Get rolls from the same place again.
Now, I didn't know if there were any more places that we forgot.
Oh, there's places.
Lots of
yeah.
places.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Chairman, I think you had a motion in a second, but I didn't hear you vote on the, for
On
the
the
rolls.
rolls?
Mhm.
Okay, I'm trying to get it all lined up so we can do it. Have a motion, a second, and then I'm gonna take and be in charge this week of doing that for the medical people. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Now give me some ideas of where to, name 3 places where we can go to get some rolls.
Yeah, Sam O'Borney makes them up north. I mean, there's no place handy here. And Durham makes them up there.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, it depends how far you want to travel.
Let's try 3 different places.
Anybody in Peabody?
Yeah.
Okay.
Linda Martinez.
Linda, okay.
That'd be,
So
since
that'd
you're
be
doing it.
3 different places.
Well-
O'Borney's, somebody,
But you're not gonna need near as many. The EMS is a smaller department
okay.
than the sheriff's department.
Actually, it depends if you include the volunteers.
Yeah.
If you
Yeah.
include the volunteers, it's larger.
Yeah.
I just say. just
But
leave it
full-time
this way.
staff is smaller.
When the volunteers show up.
Well,
You want me to get 2 dozen from the cafe in Durham?
yep, that'd be 2 dozen there. O'Borney's, who's gonna, I don't know, somebody
Can you call her?
Yeah,
Okay.
I think she delivers.
and I'll, Keenan and I'll take care of the ones from Peabody. And I'll get us a point to do that, so. Today is
What
the.
day they need them, or does it matter?
17.
Just have here this week sometime.
I think we need to pick a day, like a Wednesday, but we need to talk to Travis and see if he can sort of help us out a little bit.
Nothing else, I'll just try to have them there on Wednesday.
Okay? We might contact you this afternoon to Travis and see what we can do. Because there may be the crew, those volunteer crews, those other 2 locations or 3, they may want some too, so we'll see.
Does Dave want to get a dozen for 10
I'll take your
people?
10.
Okay. Okay.
Same old coffee, huh?
All righty. Moving
Okay.
on.
I have a COVID update from the Health Department. As of 7:30 this morning, Marion County has 696 confirmed PCR cases and 389 probable cases. There are 4 active cases, 1 hospitalization, and 24 vital statistic confirmed deaths. Marion County's rolling 14-day positivity rate for the period of April 25th through May 8th is 11%. This information is found on the KDHE website under the COVID-19 metrics and nursing home metrics. Information on COVID-19 variants by county can be found on the Variants of Concern tab. In Marion County, out of 20 specimens sequenced for variants, 8 variants of concern and 1 variant of interest have been detected. Last week's vaccination clinics, Moderna 30 booster doses and 11 prime doses administered, Johnson & Johnson 4 doses administered. This week, vaccine clinics will be held at the Health Department. On Tuesday, May 18th, Moderna prime and booster doses will be administered. On Thursday, May 20th, there will be an evening clinic from 4 to 6 p.m. for Moderna and Johnson & Johnson vaccine. Walk-ins will be accepted for the evening clinic. The online scheduler remains open for appointments on May 18th, May 20th, May 25th, and June 1st.
Color one is not used.
Last week, Pfizer vaccine was approved for 12 to 15-year-olds. The Health Department has requested Pfizer vaccine from KDHE, which will be administered to middle school students.
Okay.
Okay. And then I have the minutes of May 10th.
Okay, does everybody have a chance to go over the minutes of May 10th?
I move to approve.
Dave Mueller makes a motion to approve. Do I hear a second?
I'll second
Second
it.
by Jonah. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. 5-0.
Okay. We do have some early checks totaling $72,131.52. And this, it does include $34,012 for the emergency management vehicle, the new vehicle.
New vehicle. The other two is fuel, $37,648 at 15 and then the Eagle Communication for $25.95, and then your, as Tina just said, the $34,327, no, $37,000. You got rid of the bridge, that's the amount.
Yeah, it was $34,247
for the other vehicle. So I'll make a motion to approve that. It's a total of $72,131.52. Do you hear a second?
Second.
Second by Dave Mueller. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. 5-0.
Okay, and then something, let's see. One other thing that I wanted to bring up to the board just real quick is we have somebody that has called in about wanting to fence an area, and the road has been basically closed. There's a bridge there and it's been closed for like since the early 70s at least. It's been barricaded, or there's a gate. But I cannot find anything in the minutes or any of our records that show us ever officially closed or vacated. And the individual is wanting to put up a fence in the area and they want to include the road. And I said, well, the board would need to take some sort of action if we haven't done that, because you wouldn't be able to fence that in without us going through the process. So I did.
We wouldn't be able to, even if it was just closed, right? It'd have to actually be vacated.
Right.
Some special
This is I don't know why one picture scanned in so dark. I did go ahead and scan in a picture, which you can't really see, but it's right. What?
What side road is it on?
It's on it's near 160th and Sunflower. There's a bridge that crosses the Cottonwood River. I've got some information on it. We've researched it for a long time and we haven't been able to find any official action that the board ever took back at that time. And I know the picture is small. I can't. So anyway, I just was wondering if it would be okay with the county, with the board, if we haven't already done action on it, for the county to proceed with actual closure and vacation of this portion of the roadway. Because there is, you can see there's a top of the bridge, but there is no bridge deck there. There's no bridge there at all.
Was there a bridge? There must have been a bridge there at one time.
There used to be a bridge there, yes. So would you be okay with us working on getting that paperwork started to get that road closed officially?
Yeah, I think the board, is that okay to go ahead? And
Without causing the landowner to have to petition for it, because it looks like just unfinished business of the county from back early.
Okay, and I have another one on bridge. I mean, I was gonna bring it up in Road and Bridge today, but I've been contacted by the landowners on the county line off of 50 Highway that they're trying to do something with that, trying to use the ASC office. I even have a letter from that the ASC has sent to them over. They can't do nothing on that road right away, help the landowners on that road right away that we have set there. So I'm gonna bring that back up again. Whatever it takes is either commission started or we've had the petition come in from landowners before. And then we left to give the guy a chance he wanted to work with us, and he didn't work with us. And then the last day of Lori Lalouette's commission term, why I think Kent was sitting in the room at that day, so the commissioner would bring it up and they voted it open. So we need to, I'd like every commissioner to look at it, and we'll be getting that on the agenda to make a decision on. So it's been sitting out there 4 years now or more, and probably more. And it's closed, it's barricaded off. Just so we
On the Harvey County line?
Harvey County line on Highway 50, first that mile from Highway 50 north up to 70th, or from 70th to 80th. Excuse me.
Okay.
That way, if we got two of them going, Tina, I might as well put both of them on.
So what I'm hearing is that no one on the board has any objections to us moving forward with the appropriate legal process?
But we have to contact the landowners, right?
Yeah,
On
that's
both-
part
on
of
both
the
them.
appropriate
Yeah.
legal
Right, okay.
process, yes, you are correct.
Yes.
Yes.
So it's still-
Okay.
Still involved in the hearing.
Yes, still involves
We have to
hearings, things
publish
like
it,
that.
we have to send notices to the landowners, we have to
Right.
hold a hearing.
It'd just be initiated unilaterally by the county, given the
Yeah.
circumstances.
Okay. Then we will work on that, and hopefully we'll have the beginnings of that ready to go next week so that we
Okay.
can, I know that these individuals are looking to update their fence soon, and we
Right.
don't want to hold them up too long.
They can close.
I think vacate on this one.
I mean, just propose vacation.
I think we can, we'll get them ready like we usually do.
Okay, that's fine.
Send them to you.
That's fine.
Okay. Okay, that's what I had.
For administrative business?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Brings up to Road and Bridge. Bryce?
Hello.
Afternoon, Bryce. I don't know whether you was on the meeting. I didn't look to see whether you was on. We've had 2 public comments from Paul and from Nick, and about what what this stuff that was, and this is what Paul brought in, and about that road on Yarrow, correct?
Yeah.
And so,
Okay, well, and let me explain what transpired. We got a call from Mrs. Helmer, I believe it was Thursday, said, hey, can we get some rock on the road? I said, yeah. Talked to a DJ and I said, what does it need? He said, well, why don't we try some of that crushed concrete? It's 1.5 minus, we have the south shop. Now that crushed concrete that we're producing out there is basically old pipes, regular concretes, excuse me, bricks, and he took it out there. Based on the stuff that we have put down out there, it performed very, very well. Now, honestly, the amount of metal and stuff in there is inappropriate, and you typically don't see that until it's down and placed. Now, one of the things that I am working on is I've actually purchased 2 magnets that go on the front of the motor grader that should go back and pick up that. There's no guarantee that we get all the metal out of it regardless. So we put that out there with the calls this week, or this morning. DJ went out there and looked at it. He said, yeah, there was some stuff out there. So we decided it would be better to try to cover it up with sand than it would be to blade it up, because as muddy as it is, we would make even more of a mess. Now, if that's something that the commission doesn't want to do, we are trying to find, uses for this material. This crushed concrete and bricks will undoubtedly hold up better than what the limestone has. Yarrow is a very busy road for the most part, north and south, we understand that. And as far as lack of rock, whatever else, I mean, I can't say objectively it has or has not. I could go back and look at that. But it faces the same issues we have all other roads. We don't have the crown, whatever else, and we don't put the rock on it to try to fix that. So again, one of the things I want to try to do is get those magnets going, because I think we can take care of a lot of those issues. And I can't say, well, again, even with the magnets, we'll get rid of everything, but it's probably no different than some of our other roads with stuff falling off of tractors and trucks and whatever else that may be out there too.
okay, right.
So,
Is this from the south shop? I mean,
Yes.
we've seen pictures of it,
Yes.
and it's got brick, and this is the south shop.
Yes.
This is a little bit of culverts coming in. This could be anything that people, you've brought some in from tearing things out and stuff like that.
Yes.
Okay, so that's where this come from. Does those people, when they come in, do they have more magnets than the people up north, or do they have any magnets?
Yeah, they have magnets.
Okay.
In fact, last Friday they came in and loaded up a end dump trailer, barrel dump end trailer full of rebar taken out already, and that was just after last week. So
Yeah.
I mean, they are.
When you speak rebar, you're speaking 1/2 inch or bigger?
I'm talking a lot of like dowel bars and stuff like that, and big rebar, not those pieces there.
This is almost like a mat wire.
Yes.
Or something.
What that is what they call a dowel bar basket. That holds the 1.25 inch, 1/8 baskets on the transverse joints. KDOT used to try to put them in with an automatic machine. What they found out was it was moving them along, didn't stay in the joints. Well, now they come in and it's got 2 wires run down the inside, little loops. That's where this bar goes in, and they actually staple them or nail them down to the base. So.
So magnets won't take any of this?
No, it will. It will. It's just that the material is going through there, and it's just not enough to pick up everything. So.
But, okay, so we pick it up, we take it out, we put it on Yarrow. Was there anybody aware of this kind of stuff?
Well, like I said, at the time you pick it up or load it, you don't see it. That's how it works, when it's put into a pile. It's like I said, some of the other, I heard you say there was some wood and maybe glass or something else too. And again, that's just stuff where even if you're standing right there, you may or may not see it. They're crushing this down to 1.5 inches, which we hoped would be small enough to, break up all that stuff and have the magnets pick it up, but obviously it's not. So.
And again, the question was asked in the earlier meeting about the price of this versus the price of rock.
Yes.
So
was it $5.20 per ton we're getting this crushed for? I heard you say like $8, $9 for limestone. The limestone that we use is typically like an SS5. It's a larger top end, a little smaller on the bottom end, and it runs us about $11 a ton.
Can I interrupt you for a second?
Yes, you can ask questions, go ahead, Paul.
All right. First off, how do you test your rock for hardness? You say it's harder. You grade the rock somehow or what?
We don't. I'm going by the fact is that the rock that comes from the Harshman quarry is tested by the state as far as wear, durability, stuff like that. That same rock has been used for these pavements and this material, and therefore with the cement and everything else in there, it is going to be durable and less susceptible to
So
wear.
that red brick's been tested and it's harder than the limestone.
I'm sure it is, but I don't know.
Yeah,
That's
so it's
the-
not, it's just, we're assuming then at this
Yeah,
point.
as far as the brick, yeah.
Okay, and then you're saying that this limestone's $11 a rock, and we're paying essentially $6 a ton for this. What's our estimated manpower and labor price gonna be after we have to go out and remagnet the road and pick all this crap back up?
Honestly, I don't think it's gonna be that much. The two magnets were about $700 for the pair. Make an attachment to the front of the motor grader that they drive along and pick that up. When they get up to where they need to, they pull the levers up and release the metal.
But it will be an additional expense, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know why are we covering a Band-Aid with a Band-Aid when we do it right the first time we do it?
Yeah.
I mean,
I think the goal of Paul is what Bryce said, we're trying to find something that's, puts down a good hard base.
yeah, but we're assuming it's a good hard base. We
Yeah.
don't know it's a good hard base.
Yeah, and we were not expecting this, because we was talking magnets in the operation, so we expected, I don't think there's a Commissioner one that expected any of this, I don't think Bryce expected that.
Yeah, I mean,
But it's there.
Yeah, it's there
What-
now. Now we're,
and that's what
I
we
don't
got.
think covering it with sand's an answer, because that's gonna come right back. I mean, you put sand on top of that one,
Yeah, just come up through.
it's gonna come right through it.
So is we gonna have the same issue with the Lost Springs crush?
we don't think so. We put it down on Mustang up there, and they found a few things out of that, like 3/4 of a mile, but nothing to affect. We put the 3-inch crush stuff also on X Ranch Road, and it's performed fabulous since we put it down.
That's up
So,
north.
Yeah, X Ranch Road, I think from 270 to 280th or something.
Half mile past Xavier.
Yeah.
60.
But like I said, it's performed well, and like I said, it's unfortunate that we're getting this, but that's something that we will work for. The other option, I mean, even for the price, if we had to go back and work out a deal, send it back through another magnet, whatever the case may be, after it's crushed, I think will still be considerably cheaper than $11 a ton.
Do you think we could, if we got a pile out there 30, 40 foot tall, do you think we could not do that? Why would we take that pile out again and put it out and chance this stuff? I mean, we don't want no chances, do we? I don't think the commission wants any chances on putting it out and having this kind of stuff on the road. I mean, that's my point of view. I don't know about the rest of the commission, but, because I know every one of these people that's complaining, I just bought a set of tires and man, that thing's gonna tear a $200 tire up, just simple as can be. And not one of us can afford to buy 3 sets of tires in a year just because of the road they have to drive down, so.
Well, and as far as that goes, I have told people that if there are flat tires out there, they can come in and turn that in. We'll turn it into insurance for them.
Is anybody out there cleaning up this stuff today?
They're putting sand on it. We were gonna try that because, again, if we go in there and start blading it up, we're gonna end up with a mess also. It's just too wet all the way around, and that's the unfortunate part about it. That's when these things rear up.
No,
Is anybody?
I don't agree with that at all. The road's been, I'm going back to the county hall meeting. I mean, the road's been like this for, how long, Nick? I mean, did this happen is this just a new thing that's happened now? It's been put on the back burner, it's a Band-Aid, it's covered up with a Band-Aid, now you wanna put another Band-Aid on
When was the last time it was rebuilt?
it. I'm probably not old enough to know the answer to that.
Honestly,
I don't live on Yarrow Road, but I'm hearing that it's highly traveled.
well, it ultimately comes down to this. In my 5-year report, stuff like that, we talk about doing 15 miles of rebuild a year. If you look at 800 miles of road, that means every 53 years you get your road rebuilt. Plain and simple, no questions about it. As far as rock, you take $950,000 divided by 800 miles, gives you about $1,100 to $1,200 a mile. That gives you 4 loads of rock per mile.
So the answer is no maintenance at all.
No, that's not the case, because I know DJ's been out there blading. I don't.
Well, like I said earlier, how do you have him move a grader? How do you expect him to grade something with no material? You
Well,
don't give him a
that's-
tool to work with. He can't
that's-
grade nothing. Bindweeds aren't a filler. I mean.
And this road doesn't need to rebuild like what Cedar Street had. I mean, that was a huge rebuild. I just don't know how you do something in between.
Right. Paul, I understand your frustration, but.
Well, I
right
don't
now-
think you really do, Rudy, because you're going out there driving like crap. I mean, like I said earlier, I got a wife with 4 little kids, and I'm gonna send her down that to go to Wichita. I mean,
I got a teenage daughter that's about to start
Yeah.
driving, and I'm
Yeah,
scared
so-
to death because the potholes are so damn bad on
Well,
the
what
wagon
happens when
wheel.
she gets on the highway and her tire blows out? Is that then what? I mean,
County's
you
headed
guys
towards a
gotta-
lawsuit, in my opinion.
Are you paying $50 an hour for us to sit at the tire station while we get our tires fixed for the inconvenience also, along with the tire repair?
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay. I think we've heard your frustration.
What,
I think any
clear my mind, what does Euro need right now? What does it need
well,
to make it?
first off, it needs the stuff that was put out there removed or
Well,
got
I
rid
know,
of.
but I mean, does it need so many ton a mile to bring it up to traveling
I'd
safety?
say the
safety?
first mile does, you know. The
Yeah.
second mile's not as bad.
Some of
but
these
it's not
roads,
good.
it's not the whole road, it's just, 300 yards here or there, that's a problem spot that could be addressed,
Because
that
it
could
was
make a
never,
big
ever-
difference.
It was never, ever completed when you was.
That one's just a really flat road, and it's
It's just
too
not
wide.
maintained.
For the amount of rock we have, it's bladed way too wide.
Is that a road we need to put some hard rock on and see how it?
Well, that's the
Work.
thing, hard rock was meant for a cap. In this case, what I'm
It needs
hearing
base.
I
is
don't know, we
needs-
put hard rock on roads last year just to experiment.
Yeah, well, here's the deal, if you wanna put the correct amount of rock, whatever else, when we rebuild a road, we typically put, $600 to $1,000, or 1,000 tons of base rock down, the bigger stuff. Then we put about 1,000 tons of SS5 on there, and we cap it with about 100 tons of sand. That's how you get a good road. The idea of spotting in, we're trying to extend the budget out as far as we can. We've got roads all over the county the exact same way. Like I said, we were just trying to spot in those areas to get it by. I would love to say that we could go out and do whatever we need to every road. Last year, we contracted out a whole bunch of trucking and went way beyond the budget. Again, that's what it takes with my 3 trucks that I have. If I have to go out and start contracting rock, then that's gonna eat that budget. I mean, it all comes down to money, plain and simple, money and resources. Like I said, if you look at, on average, every road getting $1,200 per mile, that's about 4 loads. And those
How
are
many
25
trucks did you
tons.
say? We got more than 3.
What?
We got more than 3
We
trucks.
don't have to drive.
3 drivers.
Drivers.
Okay, we don't have 3 drivers.
Full-time drivers.
Okay.
Now, we can take the guys off of the equipment or whatever else to do that too, but again, that's what we're working with.
What we need to hear, I mean, that's.
Yeah.
But I think it does all come down to money, and I don't think that's a very good example of spending money very wisely, in my opinion. I mean, that's.
Does anybody have any final comments? I know we got customers here that's frustrated, and I understand that. They may not feel that we think that, but we do. I don't think there's anybody happy with that, and that's why that's why Paul's asking for it to be taken off. The sand issue just don't sound good, Bryce. I mean, you may know more than we do, but the sand issue to cover it up, and we all know that things come up, and that's why I think you're getting some gruff there. That don't sound like a good idea. Is what it don't sound like. But I
Well,
understand the mud.
They don't re-emerge every time it rains.
I'm gonna go out and look at it. If we need to take it up, we'll need to take it up. I would like to take up 2 other issues though. I heard the comment that there was no ownership in these roads, and I take that very seriously. I've put a lot of time and effort trying to get things straightened around here, and that really hits my integrity and for the people that work out there, because we do care. We talk to these people. These guys have called DJ, talking to him about it. That's the frustrating part of us. We're trying to make things better. And, unfortunately, these guys have these issues. I understand everything else, but you know, to say things aren't getting better. I would love to bring all the people that call and tell me, say, hey, I think things are better. So, you know, again, I don't want to be one-sided here, but I mean, we're trying to do the best we can for what we got.
To be fair, the comment on no ownership was about this metal, really.
Yeah.
I mean, it was, take
Yeah.
a look at what you're doing.
Well,
Stop.
And again, at the time when you put it out there, it's tough to see. You know, you're dumping in a truck, you blade it out or whatever else, but if you want me to go out there and take it up, I'll take it up and we'll go to plan B.
Well, I know what he called yesterday, he said he just got done driving, and what he picked up was just from driving and seeing it. That's why I asked that question is, you know, you put it in your truck and you dump it out, and I know you got your next job to do, you go on. But surely you could see something. I mean, that's
You know.
that's the reason why that
Yeah,
was made.
well, like I said, I'll go out and take care of it, so.
Well, do your best at that, Bryce, because these people are concerned, and I'm quite sure
Well-
we don't want tires and everything torn up on people's equipment.
I'm concerned too, because I don't wanna have these issues. I don't like getting phone calls. I don't like them to make phone calls. I don't want them to make phone calls to you. So, but like I said, we were just trying to use the resources we had and.
Okay. Thank you guys for calling, and coming in.
You know,
Appreciate your comments.
Excuse me,
Yeah.
Randy, but out in my area, once you get into McPherson County, they have used crushed concrete. And it has, I've driven some of that, it's worked very well, but I don't know if they're having the issues with the metal or not.
Yeah.
I mean, the stuff really sets up, if they put it on right, it sets up.
Yeah, it makes a very good base.
But like I said, haven't gone over to Canton and sat down in a restaurant and say how many tires you've blown out, because I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, not a road rebuild, it will perform well,
Yeah.
but it's not used as the surface rock. In this case, it was used to fill in spots.
So, but anyway, we'll go out and look at it.
Thank you, Bryce, appreciate that, because there's been some concern, and we want to tackle it. I mean, I don't want it done next week, I want it addressed
Yep,
pretty
no
quickly.
problem.
So, appreciate it very much. Thank you, guys. Okay, Bryce, what else you got?
All right, I just sent in some more information this morning on following up on FEMA, a little bit there. So based on what we're looking at is $365,000 approximately. So with the information that I get back with her, we'll have to see.
From back in
2019, yes.
Return coming this way.
Yes. Now, along with that, I was contacted by Randy Frank this morning saying, hey, do you have, is it $45,000, $47,000 in damage? And I said, well, at this point, I don't know. There is talk that they may make a state disaster declaration based on the flooding and stuff that was up north. So, with that being said, there's a possibility that we could get put into that category. Therefore, we're starting our documentation as of last week for that, if that comes to fruition. So again, we don't know until that comes from the governor or the president, whatever the case may be, but we are going to document that. I hate to say that we go through that process, but it is a way to try to recoup some of our damages.
When you say last week, did the northern part of Marion County have some damage last week up there?
I don't know about northern, but I did get a call or got an email yesterday from is it Paul Gerson? John Gerson. That he had water over his road, and I'm going, we're sitting here in Marion, it's like there's hardly anything.
Right.
I went driving over there and talked to two people. They got 4 inches of rain in about 2.5 hours. Now that is way beyond a 100-year flood, therefore there's nothing to do. But it just goes to show you, and I know Peabody got hit pretty hard too, from what I understand. So it's so remote that, again, and whether the eastern part of the county had much at all, I don't know. But that's what we face is, again, those kind of damages and those kind of rock hauls, could add up.
So I'd heard that North was getting some when, it was going across I-70
Mhm.
across there, and I heard they got some, because I know we didn't down there at that time get any. So.
And also, I don't know if they're probably farther east that wouldn't affect our drainage coming down here, but farther west up in the Salina and stuff to that effect, we'd have got those, for instance, all the flooding in Durham. So I have not heard any more about flooding coming down that way. That probably would have gone east. already.
Okay.
But anyway, just to let you know, we are going
Cool.
to keep track of it. So,
It could happen.
Yeah,
Now, you wasn't here in all of 19, was you?
I come in June.
Was that in the
I
flood?
brought the floods.
Okay,
You got to clean it up.
Yeah.
Well, what I'm getting at is, do you need any kind of different information to record now? Have you learned from being?
Yes.
Okay, good enough.
We had that discussion this morning, that, when Randy said that, I told Steve, we're gonna keep track of it, we're gonna be very, very specific. A lot of the things we're looking for is actually GPS location. So we're actually gonna go out there, we're gonna hit our phones and get a GPS pin and go from there, to try to help out that situation. I think we have the overabundance of information, but they've gotta work on that, so.
Thank you.
I got the information sent in to NRCS this morning. Tina, as well as the other two guys, we are looking, or they're looking over all the information to make sure it's okay. I did get an email, said he had questions, but anyway, got that process started, so hopefully we can get that resolved. Then we're gonna end up being almost $110,000. So our county should get reimbursed about $82,000 for that. So I didn't know last week that I'd asked for the request for Jason Creven. He's got that taken care of already. He took care of it as of Tuesday, so we're back to even keel there. Brad tells me that we're having an IT problem as far as emails. He's been trying to send
Trying to
me.
exchange some documents, and I can't seem to be able to go through him for some reason, and I don't know what the deal is,
Yeah,
so.
so they got Lloyd work, was it Lloyd, I assume, or your own guy? Okay. Anyway, so we haven't been able to do any more on the crushed concrete agreement and everything else. But
I may just have to fax it to him, but that really doesn't look all that great to me, so.
But anyway, like I said, when it comes to, so I don't know if it has something to do coming from a law firm or something to that effect.
Could very well be my firewall, I honestly.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's one of those things. But anyway, we're working on that. And then, I guess, lease, question was brought up, I guess, Commissioner Mueller, is about using Burkamp Rock. Now, is that, I guess, here's the question. I happened to be up there last week. I stopped in, I talked to their superintendent as well as their safety manager.
This was out of the Lincolnville Quarry,
Yes,
correct?
Lincolnville Quarry, yes. I asked them, are you staying in business? Are you closing up? Are you just finishing up? Because they have like 40,000 tons of Morris County did. He said, well, last they knew, they were going to leave the quarry open. They may move the equipment in and out. But they said that they were planning on keeping it open as far as that goes. And so we started talking about rock, and they said, well, what kind of rock do you want? And I said, well, we haven't even got to that point. But the question is, and I think Brad may be working on this with Sharon, as far as the conditional use permit and the road users agreement or whatever it was. According to Burkamp, they were under the understanding that they were supposed to provide all the maintenance and all the rock for that 4-mile stretch. Unbeknownst to me, I don't know if any, from what we read, it just said that they were supposed to help with that. So I think there should be some specifics in there about that, because therefore that road gets beat up so bad with those trucks in and out all the time. So anyway, but I will tell you that they sent me basically a test of that as gradations and stuff like that. And the wear rating was at 46%. The lower the number, the better. Typically, KDOT looks at the fact is on their base rock in the 30 to 35 max. So based on that one test, the rock is considerably source, of course, it breaks down easier than what it does up there. But again, one test. Now, he did tell me they were coming up with some harder stuff down at the bottom. But anyway, we just kind of left it open at that. So based on what Brad and or the commission wants to do, determine, you know, I brought up all kinds of history about, we've said, well, we can use it for shot rock, we can use it for base rock, we can't use it for surface. Well, then we can only use state approved rock. So again, I think it's kind of an all over the board. But you know, do you use that material when you're up there hauling? Because obviously the trucking costs and the time factor, you get more material put down. But again, like these guys talked about, is it worthwhile to put that down if we could get some better rock and or hard rock, whatever the case may be?
And that's the question the commission needs to look at is up there, if you've got 2 or 3 miles, it's a lot of time in the middle of winter and you need mud hole rock. I mean, I have no problem with using it for that.
Okay, now I will say that I had used it on an emergency basis when we had a bridge wash out on 280th and Vista. I told them just go to Burkamp Quarry, get the material, just to get emergency to get that covered up. So, but I mean, again, it brings up the issue, like these guys talking about, well, if we can put it on there for a surface rock, do you want to do that, or do you want to keep it as a base? Well, we don't need as much base rock until we can top it with surface rock. So I think that's something that, and like I said, maybe Brad will.
This 4 mile thing, they thought they were supposed to do that?
That's what they told me, was that they.
Well, it's in their, whatever's in their road maintenance agreement.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have you looked at their
Yes.
agreement?
Yes, and like I said, I guess I'd never seen that, but that's what because I guess that's up for review or something to that effect. And so that's what.
Why aren't they doing it then?
Well, that's the question. That's what they said, and I was like, well, I think we need to find out what our expectations are from them.
I thought when they come in, they asked, and that was part of the things we asked for them to do that. So it should be.
I haven't looked at that road maintenance agreement in a long time, but I know that Sharon has real easy access to it, so.
Well, yeah, and like I said, that's where the whole thing got started, was with Sharon. Every 5 years, she has to do that, I guess.
Well, and I'm asking as the new guy, I mean, I hear so much conflicting information. Is Road and Bridge allowed to use any rock out of Lincolnville Quarry? What's the commission's ruling on that? Is it yes, no, some?
The most, I think, if I remember right, the most recent was that he was not gonna be that Road and Bridge would not be using that, except
So
for.
rocking the road to the quarry, in front of the quarry, has to
Right.
be hauled in from
Right.
somewhere.
And actually,
It's not
we did that last
And you
week.
did that last week.
Yeah,
were
the last
dropping-
action of the
That
board
makes
was,
no sense.
the last action of the board was
Came from there.
none of that rock on the roads itself.
Yeah.
Like it could be used for filling culvert holes or
Yeah.
whatever.
Rip wrap or something to that effect.
But yet, before that, the years before that, we had made, when they come on and wanted in to open a quarry through the planning deal, then we'd ask them to put some rock on at
Yeah.
that time.
So like I said, and like I said, here's
Yeah.
basically all the
Yeah, but that's
documentation.
2 years earlier than when
Common sense.
somebody made the
Yeah.
second time around was not to use it then. But
Yeah.
the first time when they come and ask is road maintenance agreement, I think, so.
All we have ever heard since that quarry opened is that it's not good enough rock. It's not state approved rock.
Yeah.
But yet we buy state approved rock, it doesn't last anyway.
Yeah.
And I don't drive by there much, but almost every time I've gone by there, there's a Morris County truck loading
Yeah.
up.
Well, and actually, Morris County, they contracted over 40,000 tons with them last year. And that's why they're back there today, is because they're still trying to finish off that haul from last year.
So Sharon is on the meeting.
Yeah, I'd like to
Call her too.
I know.
Sharon, you on here?
Yeah, hi. Can I jump in here for just a minute?
Hang on a second, you got a warble to you.
Okay,
Now and now.
Try now.
okay, can you hear me?
Yes.
I muted us.
Go ahead.
Sharon, I'm sorry, I'm muting the commission, so they want you to go ahead, and I'm gonna mute in here so that our sound doesn't come back through.
Okay,
Yeah, that's good.
so in the road maintenance agreement with Bird Camp, it says that they agree to meet with the Marion County Road and Bridge Supervisor and discuss the condition of the haul route. Bird Camp also acknowledges and agrees that they may be asked to assist in upkeep of the haul route by providing labor, materials, or monetary assistance to Marion County toward the repair.
Of the roadway.
And both parties agree that this matter shall be open to negotiation at the request of Marion County at any time.
Does it say specifically where, Tina, if you could ask her that?
Sharon, the question is, does it say specifically where, like what sections of road? Did you hear that?
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's the understanding of the parties that the main path to be used by bird camp is upon exit of Highway 77, traveling on 290th to the Carlson Quarry.
Yes. Ask for a date on that.
Date, Sharon, what's that agreement dated?
It is dated, sorry, let me find it here, the 9th day of January 2017.
Sharon, can you email me a copy of that right now, please? I'd be able to access it. Fine.
Yes, I also just emailed it to Tina, she may have it as well.
Okay, good.
Thank you. And that's,
You know, like I said, so that, maybe a little bit of gray area there, but it says we're supposed to meet, maybe we need to meet on a certain time frame or whatever the case may be. You know, if they're gonna be hauling out buku rock out of there, then we say, hey, maybe we need to do something, whatever. So, we had actually talked about, and again, this was prior to learning this, we had actually talked about going in there and pulling up their shoulders and putting that crushed concrete down for a base and then capping it, doing basically a light rebuild, not necessarily hardly any problems with ditches, whatever else, we just need the crown in the road. And part of the reason is we don't have the crown is because they're driving up and down those trucks and just powderized. I mean, you drive up and down, there's just nothing but dust, you know. But all things considered with that kind of traffic, it probably should be some sort of a hard surface road. But that should be probably 8 to 10 inches of asphalt, just so the quarry, probably not cost conducive to do that. But anyway, so that's why that road really gets beat up so bad. But anyway.
Dave Mueller, with this being said, you're hearing Bryce, what do you want now from what you've heard here to do? Do you want the commission to allow Bryce to make some decisions on this, or?
Well, again, I'm asking for clarification. We've got a lot of new information just in the past few minutes. There's an opportunity of cooperation with the quarry. That road does need the light rebuild to get a crown on it. I get non-stop phone calls about that road, and they are legitimate phone calls. And the rebuild, the plan that Road and Bridge has in place would address that. I guess what it comes back to is, I hear, okay, if Lincolnville Quarry is gonna do some of the work or provide some materials, but the commission says they can't use their material. So I'm asking for clarification. Instead of all of these policies doing this, why don't they do this? And that's where I'm hoping if a Road and Bridge is allowed to talk to the quarry, they can work something out, whether it be, now that we know it could be financial assistance with the rebuild, and then going on past the quarry also, there's some bad spots. Whatever is the most appropriate for the amount of traffic on that road.
Now, one of the things to consider is the fact is if we do go in there and do that work and rebuild that road with our forces, then would we want them to, again, to put their material back on top, or would we want to go with a monetary amount or whatever else? Or the other thing could be maybe we have in-kind materials to be hauled somewhere else. Again, it
To
just,
be brought in from somewhere else, is what you're saying?
well, no, to take out their quarry, to take other places, but it wouldn't be on 290th, which is what their agreement says.
Okay.
Again, that's gonna have to be in that.
What I suggest maybe is, maybe they've got hard rock sitting at another quarry of theirs, but Bird Camp does, maybe, I don't know. And maybe we could use that, some of their, maybe they can haul it to us.
Okay.
For the topping on 290th or something to that effect.
Right, and basically what I told them was that we would just kind of leave it the way it is until we got some of these issues straightened out.
Okay.
Both for their benefit and our benefit.
Okay,
to
commission,
make sure.
does anybody have a problem with letting Bryce work on this agreement and doing what he feels, bring it back to us, Bryce, and see if we can't all agree on
Okay.
what you feel is good?
Yeah.
And move on with this.
Okay. But in the meantime, like I said, maybe they'll come up with something.
The agreement itself has a lot of latitude for negotiation. It's very generically worded in terms of what virtually anything can be discussed and negotiated at any time, just doing a quick scan of this. So, I mean, the room is here for us to have that discussion and probably put some things in here that give it a little bit more specificity.
Yeah, you know, I mean, to say that, for instance, if they said, no, we're not gonna do that, well, okay, then we're gonna, we're gonna rescind your CUP. I mean, anyway, it's just one of those things. But I do know Burkamp real well, I know Scott real well. I think they're willing to work with us too, you know, so everybody sees it.
Is Chris still there, Scott?
Yes, Chris is actually the president. I believe Scott is CEO or something like that.
Chris was the CEO at the time, but that's
Okay.
January of 2016, so I
Okay.
don't know who's doing
Yeah,
what
I
now.
don't remember anymore, but maybe that's when Scott's president. Yeah, so.
Commission.
I'm kind of like Dave, why can't we use the local rock that's right there? And you could haul 10 times as much and get the job done.
Again, like you said, I've been told no, but,
Yep.
you know, so.
Well, that's what I'm trying to,
Yeah.
do I hear any?
This
nays?
comes
This
down
can't-
to common sense. I mean,
Yeah.
why are we hauling hard rock from Florence all the way up there?
I've always thought it was ludicrous that
We're
we
wasting
didn't
fuel.
use that quarry for some type, not saying all rock,
Sure.
but some
Right,
types.
and
of-
again, that's what
Some
I'm-
types, I mean, you need great big base rock and stuff, it's right there.
Right, that's why I'm asking for some direction, so that then Road and Bridge.
Oh, we've
has-
had meetings and meetings and
But
meetings.
that's the problem, it's all convoluted.
Yeah.
Well, and when we were talking about hard rock and not using this rock at all, basically that area between Lincolnville and Lost Springs is almost halfway between Woodbine and Harshman Forks.
Yeah.
So it's roughly 20-some miles either direction, or it's right there, or 4 miles down the road.
I mean, it seems like cost effectiveness,
Yeah.
we
Well-
need to be utilizing it.
Okay, let me talk to them, and again,
Wait a minute,
most
wait a
bang for
minute,
our
wait a
bucks.
minute, I've not heard one voice here yet. And I'm gonna open the floor up to Commissioner Gary. And do you have any thoughts on this?
I just, gotta be careful on opening the Pandora's box and going back down the road that we've been down and realize that the rock just crushes, it creates a slime on top, and then we've got no top. I mean, I would be more in favor of some sort of emergency use authorization. So if you got the call the other day, hey, we can't get down our road.
Yeah.
You could go throw it out as a Band-Aid, but
Yeah.
not as a solution.
And one of the things that may be beneficial to that too is the kind of rock that we do take out of there. Now, one of the things they talked about was that is to make a 1x4. 1 inch smallest, 4 inch bigger, but I mean, as far as base rock, you're not gonna get any better as far as that goes. But, you know, again, if you go with the 83s and stuff like that, we're gonna be right, I mean, we're basically putting down the same thing we have out there now with a lot of fines.
Bryce, when you say that base rock, and you're talking 290, you need to go to the base to put
Uh,
the base down?
No, I mean, I think we've got a decent base, we just need to build something else on top of it. And we typically go with a bigger rock building up the base because number one, it supports better, number two,
Right.
we don't typically have to use as much of it, and it's not as high a price or higher quality rock until we get to the top, and that's when we use like the gray rock or
Right.
and
Right.
putting sand with it, for instance, you know, what we've done on Sunrise when we're Cedar here. So that's one of the things where it does work out great. And I mean, like I said, I talked to Scott Burkamp. But anyway, we will work on that.
I think you can do something and bring it back to us and get a
Yeah.
final plan for you, so
Right.
we know what you're doing.
Right.
We can back you on that,
Okay,
and we can go from there.
okay.
But bring it back to us before you jump out and do something.
Oh, yeah, well, I will definitely do that. Like I said, I'm trying to help
Anything
everybody.
else, Tony?
I just, maybe just a little trigger shot, or
Yeah.
gun shot, but
Right.
after that, right?
Yeah,
And what people are satisfied with is that harder rock, and we haven't really heard the major complaints with that.
Well,
At least I haven't.
yeah. And it's like that crushed concrete put out on X Ranch, that's performed well too. That's why I'm very frustrated with
All
that.
it takes is one little slip open, and right now, we're getting ate alive on Facebook, I can tell you that.
Oh, yeah.
We're getting destroyed
Yes,
right now,
yes.
bad. The commotion is huge.
Yeah. And, you know, we've faced that before, and that's very frustrating that we do that, but,
Right.
you know.
Right.
I wish I could predict, I was a little taken aback that, one of the questions was, well, the person I talked to said, don't be so pessimistic. And I'm like, I have absolutely no idea where that came from. Nobody, you know, I mean,
I can give you the
am.
name.
Huh?
I can give you the name.
Of the person that called in?
One of
Or
the
they talked
person
to?
that was still on
Okay.
the other end.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would like to go to personnel real quick, like, for after you're done, Bryce.
Okay.
For that particular reason
Okay.
Ken's talking about.
Well, like I said, that is absolutely, so. But anyway,
Okay, what else? Keep it moving.
I think that's it, as far as I have.
So recap is you're gonna go look at this stuff out here, see what we can do with it to take care of the people's problem and do that. Also, 290th up there with the quarry, you're gonna sort of come back with a plan more or less for what you want to do with that.
Yeah.
Talk to them, work with them.
Yep.
And then, I think that's it. We can cover anything else besides the use of the rock. You'll come back and we'll get together on
Right.
that stuff, okay? I would like to, if you're done, I would like to throw in a quick 5 minutes for personnel
Okay.
performance with you and the board and Brad.
Okay.
Can I
Yeah.
ask a quick question? I'm sorry.
Yes, I'll allow you a quick
Sure.
question, but you didn't make it a public comment, so, but since we're here in this discussion,
Right.
I'll throw a quick comment.
It's regarding the crushed concrete. So my husband's Brian, you've been dealing with him on the crushing job
Okay.
in the north. So, has there been any discussion about any sort of payment for the crushed concrete that's been produced thus far? Obviously,
Yes.
nothing that hasn't been produced so
That's
far.
what I've been working with the counselor with,
Okay.
on that. And like I said, we talked last week, he's gonna get it to me right away, and he says, well, I keep sending it, but it's not going through.
Okay.
So, and I told Brian, unfortunately, when the commission only meets once a week, for them to do that.
Right.
So we are trying to get on that, so.
Okay, so it's a pretty straightforward crushing contract from my understanding. Is
Yeah.
there something
This
else?
is a
that-
fairly straightforward and short agreement.
Right.
The pieces to this basically just spell out timeframes, that kind of thing. You can't.
Okay, timeframes
And,
That's something.
of the completion of the
Yes,
yes,
work
yes.
and
And-
also the payment structure for work
Right.
completed
Yes.
since February is what we're
Yes.
still
Right.
waiting.
yeah,
on.
yeah.
Okay.
So, but like I said, and I talked to Brian, I say talk or text with him several times a week,
Right.
so yeah, like I said, that's,
I'm glad to hear it's holding up well,
yeah.
what you guys have used so far. I
Yeah.
don't I don't know what's going on with some
So-
of
Ma'am, can I
the
get
junk
your
in the pile.
full name for the
Sure.
minutes?
It's Rebecca Edson. EDSON.
In other words, the boss, is that the deal?
Oh, no. Oh,
Thank you
no.
very much for your comments,
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Thank
And
you.
these two, they'll be working together. I
All right.
can't tell you what's going on between them two, you'd have to ask them
Okay.
two right now.
Okay, so hopefully in a short time frame. Thank
We're
you.
open.
All right.
Have you sent it,
Thank you.
like, to Tina or
No,
somebody else?
she just suggested that. I just assumed it was getting through to Bryce.
Oh,
And he
okay.
now will have 4 copies of it, but whenever it goes through.
You gotta send it to the secretary, maybe she got a better computer.
So,
I have his email, so I use that.
I'd like to recess an executive session for 5 minutes in order to discuss personnel performance pursuant to KSA 75-4319B for personnel matters of non-elected personnel with the board, Brad, Bryce, and that's it for 5 minutes. Be from 1:48 to 1:53. Second by
Rush, flip the switch for the fan.
Yeah.
Kent. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Good job.
You've always got to do.
Hear that voice in the corner over here.
Yeah.
You know where it says now, what blank?
This conference will now be recorded.
Out of executive session, no decisions made. Bryce, thank you. You have any final things that you need?
Now, like I said, we're obviously checking out any flood damage that may be, like I said, it's kind of strange getting phone calls of water over the road when we're just, but unfortunately with the forecast for the next 2 weeks, it doesn't look real promising either, but, yeah, it is what it is,
Yeah.
so.
Thank you, Bryce.
Okay, thanks.
Again, I'd like to go into executive session for a short 5 minutes. Let's make it 10 minutes for personnel performance. In order to discuss personnel performance pursuant to KSA 75-4319B for personnel matters of non-elected personnel matter with the board and Brad for 10 minutes from 1:56 to 2:04, I see.
2:06.
2:06. 10 minutes, 2:06, yeah, 2:06. Get my add subtraction right. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Jonah. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Out of executive, wait a minute, didn't hear the recording.
This conference will now be recorded.
Out of executive session, no decisions, and we're ready to move on the agenda. I believe we have emergency management personnel performance. Randy, are you outside?
Yeah, he's out in the hallway.
Okay. Good afternoon. Ready? I said good afternoon.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. On the agenda today to, Brad, probably go into executive session for personnel performance, is that correct? Yes. Okay. How much time to probably go through this?
Oh, initially, you won't need too much time because there's an opportunity, I mean, there's a review. Why don't you set it initially for 10 minutes?
Okay, 10 minutes. I make a motion to go into executive session with Randy Frank and the board and Brad in order to discuss personnel performance pursuant to KSA 75-4319B for personnel matters of non-elected personnel with the board and, like I said, the board and Brad and Randy. For 10 minutes will be from 2:10 to 2:20. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by Kent Becker. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. 5-0.
Reconvened. I mean, we can go ahead and get everything set up. Follow up website.
Thank you.
This conference will now be recorded.
Out of executive session, we're back open. No action has been taken. I will instruct the county clerk to put Randy Frank on again for personnel performance next week, the 24th. We will have a meeting at that time and discuss whether he's made any actions or done any actions or whether he needs another week or so to go ahead with his information brought back to us. So that's it for that. Moving on. If I can get my agenda right here. Pay plan discussion. Who's going to open up with this one?
Well, you all had asked it to be on.
Yes.
You
Put it
also
on
didn't ask
until-
me for any other information,
Yeah.
so,
I think it just needs to be put on the agenda until we decide to do something.
Yes. Yes.
And I don't know.
I can't remember all the statistics that we have set for us, so somebody else needs to.
I think the half year, Joe, because we're coming up on the half year. So half of 171 is pretty much where it needs to be.
To implement.
Yeah.
To implement as of
June.
July 1.
July 1. June's
Do you
pretty
want
good.
us to provide, shouldn't even volunteer
Don't.
this. Oh my
Don't.
goodness. Oh.
I'm ready to
What
move.
information do you need? Do you need information or
No,
what do you need?
we don't
Okay.
need information.
I think we implement the 1 year deal on the half year. So whatever, I suppose half of 171 is.
So you're talking about doing a two-step implementation?
No.
Or a,
No.
a full
Full
implementation?
Full
Implementation.
implementation,
Just on the
but it's
half
only on
year.
the half year, so.
On the half year in 2021 or 22?
21.
July 1 of this year.
And we know what the impact of the budget is.
Yes, we do.
It's gonna be,
171.
About half of that.
Half
Half of that for this year, and then
it'll be half of that, and it'll be the full amount
85.5 and change.
next year.
And we can budget for next year. And we've got plenty of general funds, we don't have to deal with tax commission.
We do not have to deal with the tax lid. We have,
That's a whole other bowl.
Yeah,
And it's
yeah.
developing into a mess.
yeah, the budget process will be a little bit interesting. I've already contacted Scott Lloyd about potential dates because your budget is pretty well gonna have to be known by July 20. Your rate and everything will have to be known by July 20, so.
So it's about at least 2 weeks. Other entities freaking out about it too.
Yeah.
And I need to contact all the other entities and let them know the changes, because that's a lot to manage with all the cities and the schools and, you know, all the fire districts and special districts. But
Let me ask one more thing there on this implement. Did we include the elected officials?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
That is included.
That gives them a new raise?
Except for commissioners.
Right, correct.
So
Yeah, it
all
was.
employees, all elected positions, excluding
Yeah, that's what was
commissioners.
on the.
That's what's included.
That's on the deal.
That's included in the record.
My question to the commission is, we didn't go and look at each elected department individually. Elected.
That was provided,
Elected
that was
person.
provided in your study 2017, because that's what we were provided
Okay.
before we did the review. So the only adjustment would be the 5% from the original study that was done.
So
And then
The original
other
study
individuals'
included, and then they increased it by the
Right, the amount, and then
inflationary type.
inflationary.
some
figure.
position adjustments.
Yeah.
I mean,
So-
if the commission is more comfortable, you could implement, or you could do obviously whatever you choose, but if you wanted to implement without the electeds and then look at those separately, I mean, that's
Well,
another
I'm
option.
just bringing this up. That thing's, the elected people's duties has changed. And we have a, maybe, I'm just gonna use it off the wall, right off the get-go as attorney. What's the wage for an attorney today versus the county attorney's pay?
Dave Crowfoot has it right here in front of him.
And that has been addressed in this pay plan.
It has been, okay.
Right.
Yeah, that's
So-
one where you really, in my opinion, need to make an adjustment.
Well, that's just one. There's as you come into this position years ago, well, how come every elected is different? You know, well, I found out why, because there's all different things that each one of them do. And so, I'm just asking the commission, before we make a final, whether, if you do this raise, is that what you wanna do with your elected people? Or do you wanna look at it individually?
That's only appropriate.
I'm just asking.
I think all the studies been done that needs to be done. My concern has been the 1-year implementation.
Okay.
I know most of you are against that, or for that. But it's gonna impact general fund
Oh, yeah.
monthly. You talk to our accountant about the importance of that general fund and the health of it. What that actually means to the county. And once you've gone through the budget process with Scott, you'll understand.
Yeah.
And so I've always been, whether I'm right or wrong, I always thought it'd be best to implement over a couple of years.
At the same
Well,
time, we're in an environment where.
I know we're in an environment we can't get employees.
We've
I
got,
understand that.
and we're behind the 8 ball from the past.
But,
This is only bringing us up to where we current,
actually,
Not current.
not even current.
the stretched out implementation actually is counterintuitive.
Exactly.
Because it actually does compound
Yeah.
starting the second year. And that makes it even harder to swallow.
Explain that to me.
So you're playing catch up on January 1.
Right.
So you're gonna eat that, and then July 1, you're making up for everything you didn't pay for the previous year. So you've just kicked the can. You still paid it out, you're just kicking it out. Right? I mean, that's the way I was kind of taking that on that, especially when she explained it. She was saying that we would have to That's the reason why this 2-year implementation was so many more dollars.
Right, because basically what it was
Catch it.
showing was you're putting the temporary lanes or you're implementing over time, but then also then you're still keeping your plan moving forward at the same time.
Yeah, exponentially increases that portion, right?
It's still just so much cleaner to do it once. And the actual impact to the general fund is much smaller than a lot of other projects. we
Okay,
do.
let's go. I'm taking what you two just talked about and what Kent's talking about. 171,000. We implement it right here. Half of that will be first of all in July 1st.
Right.
So then come January 1st, what are you gonna implement then? Are you gonna do the 171,000 total then? So then you've got 171 plus 80 some thousand.
But that'll be in next year's budget.
But next
which we
year's
have
budget,
not.
you can do that. But if you implemented, or you're just doing half of the whole total
We're
race?
doing half of the
Half of the
this
race,
year,
half
because
of
it's
the
already
total.
halfway. It's already
So,
halfway through.
Half comes out of 2021 budget.
okay, so
But their rate is where it should be at that
Yes.
point. If you follow.
if the rate of pay is at that?
Yeah, this
Okay.
is where it should be. They're just saying, well, we're giving them a raise now as opposed to January 1. But it's to the right rate.
To the right rate,
It's
there
a
we go,
wage
that's my.
correction.
That-
Yeah, I should
It's a
say that.
wage-
So-
Wage correction.
You're to the right rate of pay, come January 1st, they're not gonna get a raise.
Right.
They've already got their raise.
Yeah, yeah.
They got their wage
It's gonna
correction.
cost us for a full year, is what
Yes.
you're saying.
What,
Yeah.
wage correction?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's what.
And the way the pay plan is designed, then they could step or however any raise in the next year is handled, you could do that in July.
Yeah.
I wanted to step that out to my
Yes.
mind just a little
Yes.
bit here. Not 2 raises, 1 raise.
Yes.
Public needs to understand that, because their concept will be, oh, you gave them a raise in July, now you're gonna give it a raise. Well, it's not that way.
Yes.
Perception
Yes.
would say it was.
Because I perceived it when I first heard her say that on the deal. So, okay, we're gonna do it in June, and then we come back and do it, double it again, that's
No.
gonna cost us more money.
No,
right.
No, it's not, cost us more money. It's actually, we're paying for a half a year this year, and for a full year next year as the first of the budget, which we have time to budget and stuff,
Yes.
like you said, Dave.
Yes.
Yes. Does that help you, Kent? I mean, does that?
Well, it helps me, but I'm still worried about the middle limit.
Right.
I'm just sitting here saying, I'm not gonna raise the middle limit.
And I'm on
That
your-
doesn't matter what project it is.
I'm on
It
your
needs to be
side
for
as far
anybody, any
as
project.
making sure that this county budget has money in it, because we cannot spend all of our money, and pay bills. I mean, you got to have some reserve, and that's something we've got to do.
That's still gonna come back to the best investment the county can make is in its employees. And at a minimum, be competitive with surrounding counties.
We'll still not be competitive, but we'll be better taking care of our employers better.
The message we're sending right now is it's okay to underpay
Yeah.
our employees. And that is an inappropriate
So
message.
Tina, how short are we in the courthouse? I mean, 3 people or 10 people?
Inside this building?
Yeah, in this building.
Appraisers are short. I think mostly everyone else is
That's all right.
fully staffed within this
It's
building.
mostly room, we're gonna.
Road Bridge, transfer station, right now are short.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Several people.
you know we lost a truck driver.
But it's never gonna change until, as long as we got enhanced. Yeah.
But kicking the can down the road isn't gonna
Yeah.
make it any better.
Any final comments before we go any further with this? I mean, just on discussion of how it's gonna be done, everybody understands what's gonna happen. And I just want to get it out in the open, so it's all right here. And I think that's a fair deal. We've been behind a while. Let's try catching up, see where we're at here with this. I'd like to probably go ahead and do it the July 1st too. Now, do we need a motion to this effect?
I would make a motion to implement the 1-year pay plan on the half year, effective July 1,
2021.
2021.
I have a motion on the floor. Do I hear a second?
I'll second
2 seconds.
it. Dave's the second.
There was the 2 Daves seconded, yes, so we have a double second. Is that allowable?
No.
No.
Okay.
No.
I heard
wrote-
Commissioner Dave Crowfoot first.
That's what I wrote down.
Okay, all right.
I don't care.
So we have a motion by Jonah to go ahead and implement the pay plan effective July 1st, and Commissioner Crowfoot seconds. All those in favor of that, I will ask individually for a vote. Say aye if you're in favor, nay if you're not. Dave Mueller.
Aye.
Dave Crowfoot.
Aye.
Ken Becker.
Aye.
Jonah Gehring. Aye. Randy Dalkey. Aye. 5-0.
Thank you
So.
for not making me provide a lot more information. I would have done it, but I want you to have everything.
We had everything.
We have
We had it.
If it comes up to more than that, we're gonna come talk to you.
Let's see, when shall I take my vacation?
Actually, it'll come up a little less because
Yeah.
of the job vacancies that we do have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, as long as those vacancies exist in July 1.
Yeah. Okay, that's a good deal. We're working, trying to get our employees some benefits here, stay with the cost of living and stuff, so. Okay.
After Bryce got out, he said he realized he forgot to do the fuel bids, so can we go ahead and bump that in real quick?
Okay, area, transport fuel
Transport.
bids.
So these are all or
All
nothing,
one.
yeah.
There's only 2 bids.
Only 2 bids. I'd make a motion, if everybody gets a chance to look at it here in a little bit. The low one seems to be MFA on top for $18,527.60. The other one was $18,732 provided by Ep Service. The first one was by MFA Oil. That's the one I would choose to make my motion for, is MFA Oil.
Second.
Second by Jonah. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. 5-0. Now, go slip something else in, Tina.
Nope.
This was on the
Okay,
agenda.
we're gonna go right into, what department you from? Fraser's department. Come right in, Nikki. What do you got?
I have the computer quote that we asked about, a few weeks ago when we were in here. It is it's a little bit different though. Debbie's computer and mapping, the motherboard is starting to go out on that computer. It was purchased in January of 2013. We don't have quotes on that one yet, but so we were maybe looking to get 2 computers for, I guess, our side of the office, and then look at one for Debbie. The ones for Debbie, they're a high-end PC. It's the speed, the storage and memory, and the high-end video card, so it is a little more expensive. And we obviously weren't looking at a computer for her yet, but since hers, Lloyd's already replaced a motherboard in it once, so this is the second motherboard that's going out,
Okay.
so.
Playing too many games on it?
Just
I don't know.
So you'll be buying there's 6 of them here, you'll have to have another one?
No, those are just quotes. So we have Lloyd do quotes for just regular desktop PCs and then laptops. And I think there's only 1 laptop and there's 2 tablets and then 3. And I think the route we were kind of wanting to go was the laptop.
What do you guys have?
I got
Same
6
price.
of the same quote.
Yeah, I'm
Well,
sorry.
that's what I'm
I think we
wondering.
had a little issue with how these were copied.
Yeah, mine are all the
So
same.
I got all 6 of one.
Let's see if yours is the same as mine.
And you got all 6 of
Yours
another.
are different, yeah, we just need to each share.
I've been trying to figure this out the whole
Oh,
game.
okay.
Yeah.
I saw it at the very beginning and I went, why are all the quote numbers the same?
Okay.
Who's
Am I just
smart
not
enough to
seeing
So we
share?
each need 1 of each, is that what we need?
Yes.
Here.
I can pass these around.
Can you just let me?
Yeah, we have the group.
Okay, here we go.
Take one, or you take?
Take one, pass it around.
There you go.
Okay. Tina.
Sorry.
That's all right.
Goodness.
Thank you.
I'm trying to figure out what the difference is.
Just let Tina.
Keep rolling. Keep going.
It's like taking the salt out of the salt shaker, putting it in the pepper shaker. Thank you.
Different figures, yeah.
Hey, get me confused.
Each
Don't
one's
worry.
different.
You thought you had them all figured out, didn't you?
Man, I need 6
I
of the
already
same
kept
one.
one.
You did?
Yep.
Oh, now you're throughout my system.
Yep, way to go, John.
Well, just run on down the line.
It's getting better, or it's getting worse.
No.
They say how long it take to get them?
Lloyd did not. We just got, the quotes have kind of like randomly came in, so. I think these are all available right now.
Yeah, there's some.
We've been taking us about
The
4 or
rest?
5 weeks.
Yeah.
Coming out of Wichita.
Yeah.
I saw that.
They're way behind.
I don't believe it.
I think I ended up with an extra one somewhere. I don't know how many
Well, there
copies
were
I have.
6, so there should be
So
an
I
extra.
have 1, 2.
So whatever figures on top's different.
That's good.
It's a little better now.
1,500.
Yeah, makes more sense.
6 here.
I got 6.
15,
I got 6.
11,
I got 2.
You got 2.
1250.
I got 2
Uh,
quotes.
You have 2,
I don't
and these are
have-
for you.
I don't have his or his.
There you go. That's,
Now you got it.
now you have them all.
Each one's different.
Okay.
But you gotta come back after we study.
Hopefully you have them all done.
Now, go by the total dollars right there, whatever you're gonna start with, whichever one you wanna talk about first. You have in front of
You
you.
have quote numbers?
I have, the one that's for 924.47. It's,
Okay.
the Think Book.
Quote number?
CQK 79.
924.47. Got it.
That's the laptop. That's the only laptop.
Okay.
There's the other 2 that are mobile is a Surface Pro and then a Think Tab or something like that, which is a tablet.
Your recommendation on this one?
What's your budget up?
I know we have 7,500 in our capital outlay. And we budget, I think, 3,000 for PCs every year. And we have not bought PCs in a long time. Lloyd didn't really say which was better. I think he said they'd all, they'd all work for what we need it for. I know we kind of talked laptops might be the way to go, considering what we just went through, and then we didn't have enough PCs for people to take home or work from home or.
Commission, is there any questions you'd like to ask?
Tell us what you recommend.
I mean, I guess I was leaning towards the ThinkBook because it is the laptop.
There you go.
That's,
And it is I think it's the second cheapest next to the ThinkPad, which is a $4 difference.
yeah, it's
And
actually
and you
cheaper.
need 2 of them, right, Nikki?
2 of them.
Oh, the book,
ThinkBook, yeah.
okay. I need a motion, or do you want it?
Now, some of these only got 16 gigabytes, some's got 8 gigabytes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a big deal.
It is a big deal.
It's because the 16 gigabyte are, like the desktop, they're not laptops or mobile, they're just regular desktop PCs.
But you need gigabytes to work.
Mm-hmm. Lloyd said they would all work for what
Well,
we
yes, they
need.
will, but, you know,
I mean,
you won't be able to get emails from Brad.
Said they need something mobile, so.
But you can get 16 gigabytes mobile.
Everything has solid state hard drives.
I think that's all you can get anymore.
Well, that's a good thing. 'Cause
You know,
mechanicals
You can
are
drop it.
failing everywhere.
I will say, the 16 gigabyte Surface Pro, we do have a Surface Pro in the office right now. And we have a laptop. I feel like we tend to go to the laptop more than we go to the Surface Pro because the screen size, it would be hooked to a monitor, so,
But the
essentially.
laptop also gives you the capability for a docking station.
Mhm.
Do you use one monitor or 2 monitors?
We have no laptops hooked up to 2 monitors. Currently,
So you're saying the one that you want's less than $1,000,
yes.
so you don't even have to bother us.
We'll look at that.
That's an easy invite.
You got a motion?
Yeah, as long as you only buy one of them.
Right,
And
yeah,
then
we're
you
looking
wanna-
for two.
But one a week.
Yeah, right.
You said you're looking for two,
Yeah, we gotta get two.
so she does need to be here, Ken.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So how are you gonna connect these to your system? I mean, are you just setting these laptops on your desk?
No, they'll have a monitor hooked to them.
Okay, so the monitors that you already have? Because there's no price for that.
Right. They would work, yes. I know they would ask, Michelle asked for a bigger monitor. The ones we have right now are pretty small. But I think they're like.
They're not very much,
Yeah,
like 100.
just a little over $100.
You get a 20-inch monitor for $120.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not really that expensive anymore.
And it increases your work.
Mm-hmm.
Get your touch screens.
You feel a lot better.
Touchscreens are nice. Every once in a while, I mean, I don't use it very often. but
If somebody comes along and they point at something,
Yeah.
and it clicks,
Yeah.
it scares me a lot when QuickBooks is open, 'cause I'm afraid somebody's gonna write some checks that I can't cash. So, yeah, if your recommendation is the ThinkBook, I will go ahead and make a motion to approve the purchase of two ThinkBooks at the cost of $924.47 times two.
Have a motion by Jonah.
Second.
Second by Kent. All those in favor say aye.
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 We also wanted to let you know that our real estate, was certified last Thursday on the 13th. And personal property and oil and gas will be certified to the clerk this week. And then we've started our 17% relist in Lost Springs Township.
The 17%?
Yes. And we'll go to Lost Springs, Wilson Township, the city of Durham, and the city of Hillsborough this year.
Okay.
In that order, I think.
Okay. Good.
And that's it.
Thank you.
That's all I got.
Thank you, Nikki.
Thank you.
And then Tina, we're going to take care of your executive session for personnel performance.
Okay. I think, probably 10 minutes.
10 minutes? Okay. I move that we recess in executive session in order to discuss personnel performance pursuant to KSA 75-4319B for personnel, number one, for personnel matters of non-elected personnel for 10 minutes with the board, Brad, and Tina. That will be from 2:45 to 2:55. That's my motion. Do I hear a second? Second by Jonah. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. 5-0.
This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, out of executive sessions, no decisions made. We're moving on here past the agenda. Public comments. Do we have any on the line?
There are none online.
Okay.
And I just thought of something, I'm sorry.
Yes.
On your list, that list, that to-do list that I
Yes.
gave you.
Yes.
There's one thing that's a little, it's getting a little bit time sensitive, and that is the deed for the EMS lot. Because they want to order a building, and we do not have property yet, so, that needs to be moved along as soon as
What's the
possible.
holdup?
I don't know. But the building keeps going up
For sure.
as long as we wait, and so,
Can we schedule Travis or?
well, Travis doesn't know what the
He
holdup
doesn't.
is. I think
Can
that's
you
between
call
the
back?
attorneys.
Over Hillsborough and
Yeah.
say, where's our deed?
Can we,
Or-
we already know the size of the building that we're going with. Can't we just order that building package?
Well, we still
That's
need
the
the
price
deed.
that's gonna go up.
Josh Bain is no longer counsel for the city over there. It is now Triplett Wolf, and I don't know her name. JT's firm. She's local, and they ended up hiring her, so I've not had any contact with her. With Josh, I saw him regularly, so this discussion would occur. That's, and I'm not criticizing it, I just don't have any need to talk with her. I'll usually talk with JT or Andrew or somebody over there. But I could call, get Kim on the phone,
Good.
tell her we need a deed. I'll do that this afternoon.
We need that next Monday,
To
Yeah, I
approve
mean,
it.
as soon as possible, because, I mentioned to
Or
Travis
for
that
that
it's
matter.
probably, you guys have already approved the project, so he could probably go ahead and order the building, but at the same time,
that's not legal.
yeah, well, I mean, doesn't
What?
mean you have to set it there.
No, you can order a
We can
building.
order.
Why can't you order a building?
We
You
couldn't
can't,
really.
you
Yeah,
can't.
okay.
No,
Unload it.
ordering it, I'm shaking my head about, I don't want anybody putting anything.
We have to
without
unload it
us
out
having
of the
a
Well,
deed.
no, not on that building,
Right.
not on
You
that
can order
lot.
that.
But you could certainly order it, yeah.
Right, that's what I told him, I said he can probably go ahead and order the building, but then don't wait anymore, it's gonna keep going up in cost.
Yeah, I agree.
But that we would, I would bring this up and make sure that we move forward.
John,
We
would you
didn't
talk to
ask for
city
no
council?
reviews on plans or anything, but this building was set just from the view that we saw here at the meeting.
You've got a lower,
I think they're coming back
Maybe I'm-
next week with the final plans.
Okay.
Yeah, we really need that deed. Okay.
Who's in charge of going and asking, finding out about the deed? We got.
I will,
Okay.
I will.
I just hit Matt right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
You did too?
Yeah.
Okay. And I'll call over to Triplet Wolf.
Yeah.
Actually,
Yeah,
I'll
you
just
talk
do
to the
it.
attorney.
I'll just do it right now.
I don't deal with the
The city's probably just waiting for their attorney to draft it.
Mhm.
Well, I know that was.
It may have just slipped through the cracks.
So if they're coming next week, then do we make a motion next week, most likely, that would be passed? Would be good enough, or? Or should we?
I guess. D.
D.
Yeah, it's two E's. You got it.
I was sitting there sweating because I.
So,
Using A, it's dead, and that's kind of the same
I
difference.
mean, you've
I think.
approved moving forward with the contractor.
Oh.
I don't have anything on the agenda for ambulance, but we can make sure you get that
Yeah,
on. And
okay.
then if you're gonna approve final plans, then you probably need to do that next week.
Okay. Hopefully you get everything there for next week.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, it's coming. Attorney wants an agreement and is drafting right now.
Yeah, and then we're gonna talk about the fishing.
Okay,
dock,
I'll
too.
just send it to the
The
front.
county dock.
So,
Okay.
Attorney wants an agreement.
Anytime we have any transaction, we have an agreement.
So
So
we have
I thought we already did.
I thought we had a contract.
Yeah.
For the city.
So Josh drafted one and we approved it in principle, but maybe
we didn't
they never
sign
signed.
Yeah.
That's where it
one
was.
Somewhere.
well, I'll go to the council meeting
Demand action.
tomorrow. Oh, I will.
Can we give Jonah approval to sign the contract?
Well, I'll call Randy if they got a contract, he can sign it.
Yeah.
No, we'll do it.
The fact that you have no authority to do so is really not an issue. I mean, it's just personal liability. So-
I've got 4 good friends here.
Wait till you're under the bus and see
Oh,
if they
okay.
just keep rolling or not.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you
I
for
didn't
letting me get
say
that
that.
in, actually.
Oh, I can't count on my friends. All right, so the plan is to see an action for next week on the agenda for the ambulance building and see if we can get it okay to size and get it ordered. And get that on the agenda and we'll see if we can handle that. Thank you, Tina, for catching us up on that. Commission comments.
Really looking forward to seeing the whiteboard in here.
Do you wanna look at it? Or do you wanna look at
Take
it?
a big whiteboard. There it is.
There they are.
Well, right here's a whiteboard, right here, because that one's not big enough over there. We can't write this, all this. Cool, look at this.
All right.
Look
But
at
this doesn't have an electronic thing at the
This
Bring
bottom.
2 of them?
This is all, just a place to start, but Tina had all the information. I split it up into policy, and there's the.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
policy
look.
projects, and so you can see how crappy the handwriting is.
Nice.
There's projects, and then this is Brad.
This is Brad.
Oh, you had to do that.
Yeah.
Policy.
Did I copy, you got that in the packet?
Yes. Yeah.
Nice.
I just didn't want to see it on a whiteboard.
That's what I'm gonna do. These are all right to have up here, right, Brad?
Well, there you go.
Not for me, they're not. I mean,
Oh, I mean,
it just kind of gives me a little heartburn, but that's fine.
But for policy, these are the ones we've talked about. Now, if we're not gonna do anything, then we cross them off.
Yeah.
But the ones we've talked about. The only thing I did add that we hadn't talked about in here under planning and zoning was solar.
Solar.
We do, and they know, they're working on it.
Yeah.
Like, just general policy, because I heard it was gonna be reprinted, right?
Yeah, they were,
Or they already
they were
done it.
reprinting their brochure.
I think it's,
It's probably already done.
They have, no, it can't be done because you guys have to do a new resolution to adopt the new rules before they, you should do that before they get printed,
So
so.
there's a whole bunch there, and then of course, these two. And then the tax sale procedure. This one ought to be able to knock out pretty quick,
Mm-hmm.
so we could cross one off.
Yeah,
And
I
then-
think so.
Then under, I should put these over to projects, even though some maybe should be here.
One I wanted to ask about, we talked about this before. On the employee manual, what's the intent collectively? Do we want to have someone who does that on a regular basis and does nothing but that, come in and do that in terms of a consultant, or is that just going to be in-house?
Which one?
Employee manual.
The employee manual.
Employee manual.
Oh, God.
Last time
Is
we
that
had
horrible?
a
Consultant.
employment law
Yeah.
firm take care of it for us.
That would be multiple
is that
work
1,000 or 5,000?
sessions.
And
Probably 5,000,
Okay.
yeah.
Did you say dollars, 5,000?
Yeah, that's what he said, was it $1,000 or 5,000? When we did it the last time, it was somewhere in between that.
Last one I did, that was a general update like that, took my breath away, it was about 13,000. I hope it wouldn't be that much.
Think HR, which we have access to through K-Camp, has a template, but
Yeah.
it's still gonna be a lot
A
of
lot
work
of
to
changes.
put things into it.
That's the reason I'm
in-house.
asking. I've done them. It's not like it'd be a first, but I do, it is nice to have someone with that expertise, at least to call on. I suppose we can do a combination where we do it and they do a final review. That will get the cost down. If they do all of it, it will be pricey, usually.
So I guess the
Unless Tina,
starting point would be
you know,
get
puts them under control.
Get some information,
Yeah.
potential bids.
Last one, who did I use last? That was Holston, pricey. But yeah, we could do that.
There's one on projects over there, clear to the second to the bottom, Dave, Neighborhood Revitalization Program. That one you need to do by January 1st. I think that's you've got it for this year, you can cut it off, I mean, make the ending date December 31st.
Right.
And if that's where the commission wants to go. So, but it don't need to happen. You can stop it at anywhere, I guess, but I just sort of think that's sort
And
of.
along that line, these aren't in a priority.
Right.
They were more where I could cluster, like the courthouse, there's a whole list.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And the CIP, well, there's kind of a group. And then land bank to me kind of fits down in with some of these.
Land bank is very straightforward too. That's one that we can do in-house without any problem at all.
One thing to keep in mind on the neighborhood revitalization, if you actually decide to make a change to the program,
Yes,
then that causes us a few problems.
it
because
does.
Yes.
we then have to do there's some new rules with the school general exempt that we aren't following now because we have not changed our plan
Mhm.
or
It's
had any new
grandfathered.
plans, and it's grandfathered. But if you make a change to the plan, then it's going to, it would almost be better if you just did away with it if you're going to change it.
Mhm.
Just saying.
Start anew.
So just a quick run back. I know we've been over it a few times. What's the main issues with it?
Main issues with it is not accomplishing what it was set out to do. It's, and then it's the time that it takes to run that program. Janine hadn't brought stuff in lately, but there's a lot of different departments that has, but not only hers, but there's some different departments that has parts of that. And I don't know if you can just determine whether it helps grow business or not. I mean, that's part of it. I
We
mean, that's-
did a questionnaire a few years ago when we were looking at whether to continue it or not, and the board did not discontinue it or make any changes, but it was basically with, I think, I'm not sure, I can't remember how we did that process, but it was everybody that had a building permit that year or for several years. Would you have still built without this program? And the majority of them said they would.
Sure.
And, a lot of them apply for it late or after the fact,
Mhm.
and then, the board has never, ever enforced the time limits on those, and so,
And that
they
can get us in a
don't.
bind too.
Right, and so they don't, so they find out about it later, and then they get the benefit of it, which is fine. I mean,
What
I'm
is it?
glad people get the benefit of it, and I don't care one way or the other, but I just want you to know that if you make a change to it, then that's gonna make us subject to some other.
At one time, we
rules.
was up to $300,000 we was paying out a year.
Yeah.
And then you have to include that in your budget. You have to cover that. So we was paying out that, you know, which, I don't know, it's just one of the things that there again is tying down the future tax dollar.
How did you get from 300,000 to $4? You were getting
It
that
wasn't,
much?
I wasn't
That was
quite
just-
getting
that was
that
just
much.
your-
I said the program.
Oh,
sir.
the program.
Thank you.
Oh.
Thank you for correcting. I know you're hard of hearing, but I get you the $4 one, yes.
Okay, you got the $4.
Yeah. So I'm not on the right end of the stick there.
Its
So-
administration is also a little bit different and more complex in the county setting in some ways than the city ones, because you've got three legs to the stool there, and in our case, most of it turns out to be a significant portion of the school district. And like Tina was saying, the change in the law really makes a huge difference in what we do.
Do cities also have neighborhood?
Oh, yeah.
That's why I mean,
Hillsborough don't.
you get, Hillsborough doesn't?
Some of them, actually Hillsborough still has a plan that has a few parcels in it, but it's only commercial,
Yeah.
not residential. Marion also has one. Burns has one, but I'm not sure if they have any parcels still in it. I'll have to do some more
I don't know if
research
Peabody
on
has one. I
that.
don't know if Peabody does.
That's just a county's plan.
Yeah, most of the cities I represent have one.
And I think it is better since you guys, the board went to 5 years from 10 years, so that has been a big
Yes.
impact.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
But
Yeah, that 10-year deal was crazy. I mean, it turned.
A lot of people found that out the hard way, and then they were stuck with it because they had all those out.
Yeah.
right.
So as far as changing the plan, would it still be a change if we implemented, the project was done a year ago, sorry, you're no longer
I just
eligible?
guess.
Is that an acceptable change, or
Well,
is
that's
it?
already in our rules, but it
Okay.
hasn't been followed.
Have been
And
enforced,
so,
enforced, yeah.
I don't know what the board
If
will
they
have to
found
do.
out 6 months after they was started in the project, we mostly went ahead and accepted them because, well, somebody there to start with, we didn't have somebody tell them everything.
Right.
So the program is they have to apply before construction?
Yes.
And it's somewhere in a policy that.
It says
Yeah.
that multiple places, but a lot of people don't.
Don't read it. I mean, they just think it's going to be given to them.
Yeah. But that's not a change in your plan, that's just
No.
a change in your.
Administration.
Administration,
Yeah.
so that wouldn't cause a change in
Okay.
rules.
I don't think it can change too much unless
Because-
you want percentage rise or something like that, do a certain percent different or something. That should change.
I'm sure there's more of it than what I'm aware of.
Well-
But last year, I think Nikki brought one or two people. I don't know how many dollars that equated to, but I'm saying only, out of the whole year, there's like 2.
I thought it was 10 per year.
Well,
I
that
think
was
that's
just.
eligible.
No, those were just that were coming in late.
Those are just late.
Yeah, those were the late.
And
Those are the ones that came up here, were
Yeah.
people that were
'Cause they
almost
didn't-
done building.
Because they hadn't followed the procedure.
Okay.
We're getting ready to do that process for this year, and so, I'll see, I'll provide you some information.
An outline of what all's involved, Tina, because
Oh.
there's a bunch of us that are here that never seen the whole thing.
I was gonna ask, has anyone seen the whole plan?
No, that's what I'm
Step
saying. It
process.
needs to
You
be
guys
seen.
need to at least read through it and see what it's about. It's got a stepped process, and the way those are written, it's fairly straightforward, but it's good for you to see what the requirements are and what it does. And again, in theory, we're not supposed to be losing anything, because when we do these, it's supposed to be on some new construction that we didn't have before anyway, and it's supposed to provide some impetus for someone to do that construction that we otherwise wouldn't get. But like Tina was saying, I get that same experience in a lot of them that have done the same kind of polling or survey. I'd have built it anyway. You guys aren't saving me that much. It's just a nice handy little extra. What some of
They
them
all
do.
appreciate it.
Yeah, what some of them do is they'll put a little bit more into it. I mean, they'll throw that money and do a little bit more with it, or make it a little nicer, or, you know, so it does have an impact if it's built correctly. But the 10-year thing was a huge mess. 5 became kind of the standard in the
Commissioner
last ones I
Collett
drawn.
was very adamant about getting the farm buildings on it. That's before we implemented it, he was very adamant about getting it done for the farm buildings too.
I think putting it on the farm buildings is a great idea.
Well, that's.
I need
Well,
to
it
build
is-
one.
it is-
I think that would be great.
It is.
Better do it before it hits the program.
So anyway, that was part of, you know, he was adamant about that part, let alone the city houses and stuff like that, for the farm buildings and things too.
For this county, that's probably
Yeah.
of more interest than residential structure.
I don't know whether it's L plus or difference. Well, we've seen, like you said, 10-year deal. Now, there was paperwork. And
I'd like I'd like to see all this laid out.
Yeah. Well, that's on every year's budget, you can see that.
Just broke out.
I don't know about how many, well, there's a number of participants, I mean, they've got that in appraisers, or,
We'll have that here soon. They should be
Okay.
giving that to us for the current year, and you can see how many parcels are
yeah.
enrolled.
Yeah, that's a good deal.
Oh.
1 in 10, 1 in 5.
Would you have built yours anyway? No, I'm just kidding.
You still got 1 in 10?
Yeah, we still have some that are in the 10-year program.
The bad, for me, it was a bad deal because the building then's valued at cost of construction. Well, the building's worth 20% of what it cost to build. But I've got to pay tax.
Yeah, on the whole thing before you get it back, that's right.
You can't turn around and sell it.
That's right.
We get
So
some
it's a
money back to help people.
You guys got to whale the deal.
It's on Main Street property, isn't it?
Yeah, it's commercial.
Yes,
It's
yeah,
taxed as
Main
commercial.
Street worth a lot.
Yeah, I can't.
Luckily, that just happens to the people who
They
want
have to be in
some.
Tampa.
The land bank is
Somebody might put it in the land.
And he's the one that's accusing
I'll put
me,
it in the
wasn't
land
it?
bank.
Listen to him complain, he was accusing me of the $4 check. Gee,
Yeah, mine were more than $4.
the land bank is primarily just if we wanted to take action, right? Brad draft something.
Yeah, the land bank gives us a tool that can be, like anything else, it's a little different in county settings than it is in cities, but in general, the principle's the same. Gives us a repository for properties at the bottom of the heap. Nobody wants them. People, I get that call still on behalf of the county. Not sure why it comes to me, but I've had several who've called about houses and other properties in the county. You know, people in their retirement years who don't live here, and they don't want it anymore, and they don't want to mess with it anymore, and they weren't wanting to pay taxes on it anymore, and it's just being vandalized or not used, and they're like, if we could just give it to you, I owe 3 years worth of taxes. Well, the county's not going to take it the way it is now, just for the county property, because we got issues with that. But when you use a land bank for it, the vehicle is much smoother for that purpose. Our ad valorem's go away relatively automatically if the appraiser's office has been given the information properly. And then we look for a way, because they're so upside down, somebody's gonna have to take them, and it's gonna cost them a bundle up front. But hopefully they end up with something then, if they tear it down and they've got a valuable lot. Or they've got a structure, in some cases, or guys that are magic at that will take something and turn it back into something you don't even recognize, whether it's a house or a barn or anything else. And they've got something of value at that point that they can flip or
Do you
they
have to
use.
put someone in place to kind of manage that?
Yes, the county clerk usually does that. That's-
Yes.
Surprise.
Another thing.
It's just on the list.
Uh-huh.
It's,
For you that's still online out there, we're discussing things that's been put on our work list, things that we'd like to address and get covered here, so that's what we're just sitting around talking about. That's so you know what's going on. I don't know if you can see the whiteboard in the picture or not.
I did it on purpose.
But that's what we're doing right now, just discussing things that's our list to do and stuff like that. So it'll be up here, we eventually want it on the wall here so everybody can see it.
So what did I miss? What needs to be, anything needs to be taken off?
that little printer thing on the bottom, so instead of me taking a picture on my phone, it can just print off.
Oh,
That would be helpful.
I can send you that. I took a picture of it. I'll send you
I did too, I've got it.
Oh.
I think I seen you maybe in CIP digitizing, probably falls in the CIP.
I kept it separate, because to me, it's a separate project.
Yeah.
Because it's just, I mean, I think the framework's already in place, it's just the commission
Yeah.
needs to,
Yes.
did Wichita State send information to?
Well, they sent me a contact person of
Oh.
somebody in another county that has done similar kinds of projects. So we have a contact person, which I haven't contacted. And
Well, yeah, I mean-
some of the departments have kind of started inventorying their records or what they have stored to see how much space it's taking up.
But it's still gonna take commission,
Yeah, it would take-
initiative to start the ball.
Yeah, I think so,
Direction.
and we'd need to figure out what firms could help us with that, or how we do it, and a potential, situation to do the project.
Departments are figuring out how much quantity that they
I
would
mean,
have
some
to
of them
do.
have, some of them haven't ever gotten, I
Because
asked them.
Before we can even get a price, we have to.
Right,
In broad strokes,
So
this
it's
is a good.
technically moving forward.
Yeah, broad strokes, this is a good start. Now, if you take like the planning and zoning list and you ask Sharon, my experience has been in the last 2 weeks that this is going to expand exponentially.
Oh, yeah.
We'll probably need 2 or 3 more of your whiteboards. I was shocked at, well, if you asked, here's what, you know, there's a lot of stuff.
Commissioner Mueller, I'm looking over the list here the teams provided.
Oh, here we go.
And this is for that list over on the left there for Brad. It says RMA payment from EGP attorney. It says attorney on it. That's also for your commissioner that asked a question a week ago. So
yes,
it will be put on our board.
From what I read in the paper,
Oh,
and the responses, sounds like it's all been settled.
Oh, okay, all right.
Just waiting for the check.
Okay, all right.
He texted me today and said, you know, that I have something to answer for him, and they are, I think, at this point, I don't know whether it filtered to them as well. He wants this done.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we're at that stage.
Good.
So,
They actually have a search one time on this, that anything comes up with the word.
yeah.
So
And
go ahead and take land bank off and move it onto the left fork.
Well, see, when you do that, they start
Oh,
to
you
look.
want it for Brad?
When you start moving those over.
It wasn't until there was a motion and approved.
Yeah, that's right. It starts to look like that list is longer, and that would be bad.
Well, that's what, they're within one.
Yeah, I know. That's what concerns
Within
me.
one.
Where's Tina's list? Is that this one over here?
All.
Oh, okay.
All right. See the whiteboard behind it?
Yeah.
That's Tina's.
All.
That's because she handles
Well,
it.
that's a good deal, Dave. Thank you for bringing that, because I like the ideas. I mean, we can see it up there.
Well, just so we don't forget.
Yeah.
That's the two things fall through the cracks. Tina has to keep bringing them up.
Yeah.
Well, I'll keep you with this list too, you know, and as we add things, as you all talk about things in the meeting, I'll try to put them on, but, you know, okay.
Take some off.
The stuff in front of you.
Yes.
You tend to forget about it
Yes,
if you don't
yes,
keep
you
it in
do.
front of you.
Yeah. With that being said, any other commission comments? We've had one final, so far the last one was about whiteboards, and we do see the whiteboards, they're up here. And thank you, Dave.
Thank you, Dave.
They'll come in and change them now.
We're gonna have to hang them on. Should have got 2x4s and put them in the ceiling.
Brad or
Scram with the
Tina,
shellac.
do you, either one of you two have any final comments? I don't hear my commission saying anything. So, ready to move forward, is there anything? Okay, we've got a recap on the donuts for, I need to go talk
Donuts
to.
or rolls?
Rolls, yeah. Rolls, I need to go talk to Travis and see where we can put them. I will get some emails or get some text messages out to
I'll
everybody.
just take the ones I get, put them in the office there, Jamie or Travis can take care of them.
Okay.
Legal
Wednesday morning?
professionals.
Maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll do it Wednesday morning.
Okay.
Legal Professionals Week is next week. I just wanted to mention that. Just toss it out there.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second by Dave Mueller. All those in favor say aye. Aye. You're too late, sir.
Yeah, clearly.
We can buy Brad a dozen donut holes.
And he'll be happy and shut up at that point.
That's the part they threw away.
I'll contribute a dozen donut holes.
With glaze.
Oh, my goodness, I wish I had some right now.
That ain't no
That
good
sounds
without
good.
glaze. I agree with you, Brad.